We got another two-banger here this week. First, we are joined by David Gaston. He's a Bassmaster Classic qualifier and Elite Series pro that recently just caught a record tuna, and the story is absolutely crazy. But that's not all. We are also joined by one of the most intriguing young characters in this sport, the homeless fisherman. Both of them join me this week on...
I'm Bob Cobb from the Bassmaster. Welcome to Mercer.
Welcome one, welcome all, friends, family, freeloaders, fishing freaks, and of course my humpers. Happy hump day to all of you, and welcome into another edition of the Awkwardly Honest Fishing Podcast that goes by my last name, which is Mercer. This is the 165th edition of the Mercer? You'd think I'd say that part right. Of the 165th edition of the Mercer Podcast. And I thank you for building this show into what it is. Unbelievable, first of all. We're almost at 400,000 YouTube subscribers. At the time of recording this, I believe we are 3,000 away from 400,000 subscribers, which is unfathomable. I mean, when we received that plaque back there for 100,000, I was like, well, this is as big as it gets. It never gets bigger. But to be this close to 400,000, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you all for your support. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And while we're talking about the fine folks who make this show what it is, I do need to apologize to you. I'm a little tardy on the comments. I try to get back to all the questions and comments as quickly as possible. But last week when our show dropped, I was actually out of town, Beauchene Wilderness Lodge, shooting some new episodes of Facts of Fishing TV. We got some great episodes coming your way. Had an awesome week. But while I was distracted by things with fins, I didn't get a chance to answer your comments. So hopefully, by this point, by the time you're listening to this, hopefully I've caught up on them. Because this is also the week that the Elite Series comes back in your life. So God willing, I'm in Decatur, Alabama, waiting for an event to start as you hear this. And hopefully by this point, I've spent a little time in the plane and caught up on all the comments that I was tardy on. So I apologize for being late, and hopefully I've made it up to you already. The sixth stop of the 2024 Bassmaster Elite Series kicks off this Thursday to Sunday in Decatur, Alabama, Wheeler Lake. And then we'll take a 1 week away, and then we'll be right back in Alabama for the seventh stop of the Bassmaster Elite Series, which will be Smith Lake in Alabama. So if you are from Alabama, make sure you make plans to come swing by the way, and I'd love to see you. Always great to meet humpers and spend a little time with you. Speaking of spending time, you'll want to spend some time this week with your father, because it is Father's Day this coming Sunday. And happy Father's Day to all the amazing fathers that are out there. And I got to thank my amazing family, because we celebrated pre-Father's Day, because I'm going to be away next Sunday, which I hate to be away. But this past Sunday, we celebrated pre-Father's Day. And that's the kind of awesome family that I have. I love you guys for being the people that you are. One other thing I want to touch on before we jump into things. A great show this week. I mean, it proving just how versatile fishing is. We go from one of the craziest stories of a giant record tuna by David Gaston, caught out of a 66-foot boat, and then we are joined by literally a dude called the Homeless Fisherman, who you want to stick around for this, because wild story. Both incredible guests, and I thank them so much, but it just shows how different fishing can be. You can do it in a 66-foot boat out 200 and something miles off the shore of the ocean, or you can do it on a stand-up paddleboard with your pet bearded dragon. And none of this is being made up. So make sure you will enjoy those shows. In some sad news, Derek Hudnell has retired from the Bassmaster Elite Series. He stepped away from chasing his dream. And hate to see Derek leave. I mean, Derek, an incredible personality, always smiling, always positive. And unfortunately, this didn't work out for him. he had a lot of highlights on stage, a lot of moments. You know, got an 8-pounder when we were in New York, qualified for a Bassmaster Classic. But here's one thing I'm certain of. Derek Hudnell's highlights in life are not through. He might not be on the Elite Series anymore, but he's too good a person not to have amazing things ahead for him. And I wish him luck. And he'll be missed on the Bassmaster Elite Series. But I do want to tell one story about him because it's one of the best things, one of the most amazing things about Derek Hudnell. So he qualified for the Bassmaster Classic, I believe, in his first season of competition. And he goes to the Bassmaster Classic. And, dude, he is the most clean-cut, kind of put-together dude you'll ever see. So I never knew anything about his past, and I don't know all the details on his past. But one of the days when he weighed in at the Bassmaster Classic, he took the time to say, I've struggled with addiction. I don't know what the struggle was. But he struggled with addiction. I remember his words. He said, I've been addicted to pretty much everything there is at one point in my life. And he said, I want to take this moment to let people know that are watching, that are fighting, that are struggling. It gets better. Keep fighting and you can get better. And to me, that has stood out because you think about it, that is the biggest stage in bass fishing, his first Bassmaster Classic. And it's so often that you expect to hear somebody say something that pushes their career in the right direction. But he took the biggest stage to highlight his past, a past that none of us knew about, and say, hey, man, it's not forever. It can get better. And I think, to me, to take that moment, and pro anglers get such few moments, especially moments like that, to take that moment and not make it something about yourself, but to try and help other people, shows the kind of person that Derek Hudnell is. So, Derek, you'll be greatly missed. I know you have great things in your future, and I look forward to seeing where it brings you. But thank you for everything that you have given to this sport, and good luck in the future. Now let's jump right into this show, and we're going to jump into it with David Gaston. As I said, David Gaston recently caught a record tuna, and you think fishing the Elite Series, that's all this guy does. No, when he's not in the Elite Series, he's chasing giant creatures out in the ocean. And I learned some things in this conversation that I didn't know happened. I didn't realize that when you hook into a fish, you will go through some of the stuff that he went, well, I'll let him tell about it. Let's travel all the way to Alabama and hook up with Bassmaster Elite Series Pro and record holder, David Gaston. David Gaston, most people talk about the Elite Series and they say there's nothing else you can do in life. You're just so absorbed with it. But on your weeks off, you go and catch state record bluefin tuna. Is bluefin or yellowfin tuna?
It was a bluefin.
Bluefin tuna.
Bluefin. And it's, we got them in the Gulf, but it's pretty, it's rare to catch them because you're not prepared for a bluefin. By no means. Like everybody's got 80s and 50s, and you can catch them on that when they're shallow. But when you hook them in the Gulf, you're in like anywhere from 3,000 foot all the way up to 9. So it's kind of, they can dump it really quick. So nobody's set up for them, and we just got lucky and had the right stuff out at the right time.
Well, I don't know if it's lucky. When you told me and you had texted back and forth, like literally while this is happening, because for whatever reason, we have bonded over tuna fishing. Once I found out how much you do it, I mean, we kind of messaged each other back and forth. But when this was all going down, we're messaging, and then you told me 11 freaking hours? 11 hours?
Almost 11. It was tough. Sitting in a chair. I mean, it was a big fish.
And you fought it the whole way?
I fought it. I did everything. So, I mean, I did everything, but when it got to the boat, it was dead. So, the guys on the boat, I got like Nick and Zach and Roe. They're deckhands. They're great guys. And, it come up dead. So my dad was looking over the side of the boat and was pulling it up. And he was like, guys, I think we got like a great white. It's a giant shark. He's like, it's too big to be a fish. I know that. And our deckhand, Nick, he's done it for 30 years, and he's never seen one in the Gulf killed. And he looked over the side of the boat, and he was looking. He was like, I know what I think it is, but I'm not sure it is what I think it is. So it was all going back and forth, and when we finally grabbed the leader and pulled it up, everybody just got silence. I mean, it was just that big of a fish. I mean, it was massive. I mean, I can't put into words what it really looked like when it rolled up. We didn't know
Eight,
it. We thought it was a bluefin, but we didn't know it was a bluefin.
831 pounds, 831.6 pounds, correct?
Correct. It was the biggest fish that's ever been put on the Orange Beach Marina scales.
Wow. At any point during that 11 hours were you like, screw this? This is not,
No, because it
I'm
got
not
really
this committed.
personal. I had to know what it was. It was one of those things where you could never get that opportunity back, so you might as well fight through it. I mean, it was like probably it was later than that. It was like, so we left on the 29th, which was last day of season. And no, I'm sorry, we left on the 28th. We hooked it on the last day of season, like it a little bit after midnight, and fought it all the way through the next day. Like sitting in the chair all night. Like we pitched it, like, so we usually use like 80s to tuna fish with at night, or 50 wides. But we took all our 80s to get new line on and get some new top shots. So we had all 130s, and we said, we'll just use these 130s on the 80 rods. It'll be fine. We're just gonna catch some yellowfin. So we threw out a 1.5 pound, 2 pound hardtail off the back of the boat, and put about 1.5 pounds of lead on it and sent it down. Had about 30 foot a leader, 150 pound test, and a 13-aught hook. I mean, this was not set up for big fish. And I went to the front of the boat after we set it up. And I was like, hey guys, I'm gonna catch me a little yellowfin on the popper real quick while we waiting. And as soon as I got up there, I had my headset on. They were like, hey man, we're getting eat back here. So I walked back to the back, and the rod, it was just taking the line out eating. And I picked the rod up and we put it in the chair. And when I come tight with it, I don't think it knew it was hooked for the first 30 minutes. I mean, we had like 30 pounds drag on him, which is a lot of drag.
Yeah.
And he dumped us. It wasn't 6,000 foot, and we held about 1,400 yards of line, and he dumped us. Like I had about 200 yards of line left, and I had to reel it back in.
Dude, how do you even get excited from bass fishing?
Well, when a big one eats a frog, it kind of feels the same. You know what I mean? But it was wild, and so I was in the chair, and then like we got him up real quick. He shot back up to the top, and he scoped out, and we chased him for a little bit. And like you can't back down on a big tuna hard, because then they'll go crazy. You don't know what they're gonna do. It's not like a marlin; you can back down on them. And, they'll try to stay out and run from you, and they'll come to you. But I mean, you can predict them really easy. But every fish is different. But a tuna, you don't know what he's gonna do. I mean, they're so fast and erratic. And he turned to the boat, and he went straight down, and he stayed down that last time he stripped line. He stripped out about he probably had about 800 yards the last big run he took, and he died while he was down there. So I had to deadlift him the rest of the way to the boat when he was dead, because he died of a heart attack during the fight.
Wow. I'm surprised you didn't, dude. So 11 hours, what's happening around you when this is happening? Like,
you're
people bringing you drinks and stuff? Like, what?
Yeah, you're going to piss on yourself. You're going to drink. You're eating all kind of stuff. And I mean, you got a water hose. I mean,
Go slow. Go back. You're going to what on yourself?
Oh, I had to feel myself like 3 times. I mean, I couldn't get up. If somebody else grabs the rod, it's not your fish no more. It don't count for anything. So if somebody else touches the rod, it disqualifies you for any kind of records.
Is that hard to do? I mean, because I shot a belly boat show once, and you're in these waders in this belly boat, and I needed to pee so bad, but the lake we were on, you basically couldn't get out. It was all like these bluff walls.
Yeah.
So I told my crew, they're in a boat. I'm in the belly boat. And I'm like, I'm just whatever. I'm just gonna pee, and dude, as hard as I tried, I could not pee on myself.
Oh, I had to go. I mean, I was sweating while I was drinking, liquid IVs, water. They'd bring me nasty red Gatorade every once in a while, and that was terrible. But, yeah, I mean, I had to do what I had to do. They, sprayed you down with a hose. It was all good. I ate a bunch of crackers. They'd come out, and the problem was there was, like, my dad and uncle was on the boat, and our captain, and then our 3 deck hands, and, they were like, you had the headset on, you was talking to everybody, and like my uncle and dad, they go down and lay down, take a nap for a little bit. They come outside and say, I'll check on you. It's like, we all good? And we're like, yeah, I'm good. Just, still here. And I think we drifted like 10 miles while we was fighting this fish. I mean, it was an epic battle. Then we got it in the boat and everything. And getting in the boat was pretty difficult. We had to pull it through the door. And so our captain, everybody, we got like the gaff, the meat hook in his mouth and everything. We got a good grip on him and opened the doors and was going to try to slide him. So we had to pull the boat forward to level him out, and then we had to throw the boat in reverse, and we all had to pull while the water and the fish was blowing in the boat at the same time just to load him up.
Wow. How many people are involved in this process?
There were 7 of us on the boat.
And the boat's called the Fat Chick?
The Fat Chick. That's the name of the boat. It gets a lot of love, believe it or not. There's way more love than hate than it gets.
Oh, big girls need love. Why is it called the Fat Chick?
Well, you go look at everybody else's boat at the dock, and they got like Pretty Girl and like the Summer Breeze and Lovely Lady, and you don't ever see a Fat Chick. Like nobody just gonna name their boat Fat Chick. So I was like, we're going with that one. I mean, there's a lot of weird names out there, but like we was at Biloxi this last weekend at the Mississippi Billfish Classic. There was people there. There was all over wanting shirts and everything like that. I was like, well, we got that many shirts. We're getting them coming, but I mean, everybody loves it. Everybody wants a picture with a fat chick or ride the fat chick. That's the problem we're having.
Good point. So this was during a tournament, correct? Like you were competing?
No, we were not.
What? This was for fun?
We just went out to fish. Like we went to do a little I don't know. We just went to go kill something and catch a few marlin and just call it good. Was just gonna go out for like 2 days or 3 days or 2.5 days, and yeah, it ended our trick pretty quick. And like we got in the boat and everything, and we knew what we had because we looked up online like how much does a 113-inch by 80-inch girth bluefin tuna weigh? We was like, man, it's anywhere from 800 to 900 according to this. And I was like, when we looked at the state record, it was like, oh man, we got it. And their captain's like, well, we're gonna fish a few more hours for marlin, then we'll go in. And I was like, no, we need to go now. He's like, no. So about 8 hours, 9 hours later, we're still out there. Actually, I'll take that back. For a solid 10 hours, we kept fishing for marlin afterwards, and we got this giant fish in a bag, wrapped in the back of the boat.
Wow.
He's a killer. I give him that. But I was ready to go back.
I've always heard people like in salmon derbies and stuff like that, much smaller fish we're talking about, but they bring the fish in right away because they don't want it to lose any weight. Do they? Yeah. Are they not like that?
So we got like they're called a body bag, or it's like a marlin bag, and just a insulated bag, and we filled it full of ice. Like his mouth was so big, we opened his mouth up and stuck a whole 40-pound bag of ice in his mouth, and then closed it back up and filled him up. We had an ice machine on the boat, so he stayed cold, and the meat and everything was still good, and so he was cold. But we call, like when you catch a bluefin, you got to call NOAA, and so because there are only like a certain amount of permits in the Gulf, you get in big trouble for them. So you don't bring one on the boat unless you know you can bring him on the boat and you have your permit. So we called NOAA, we gave them our permit, we told them we sent them everything in, and they were like, well, congratulations on y'all's fish, y'all are good to go. So when we brought it back to the dock, it was the day after season.
Oh, boy.
There were some haters. And so they didn't know we already called NOAA. We already called our federal Marine Police, and they were like, oh, y'all are good. Congratulations on y'all's fish, and everything like that. So there were some haters about it, and they were like, so the way the rules read is like if you leave port, like when season's in, you're good. But we caught it when season was in. We left when season was in. But we got back like after season. So you know how people are just jealous. It was a big fish. I'd have been jealous too if I'd have saw somebody hanging it up, but I didn't catch it.
So in saltwater world, we have chat boards in the freshwater world. In saltwater world, what kind of just chirping? Just
haters on Facebook. That's all it was.
Oh,
there's like a handful of those guys and stuff like that. But we had all our permits. Everything was legal. The game wardens was there. Everybody congratulated on our fish, and we was good to go. But it was, it was a wild experience. We were definitely not expecting them. Like we fished a tournament the week before that. We seen some on top, like busting and stuff like that. And we didn't have no live bait yet or anything. And it was in a tournament. And I think like a 700-pound bluefin won that tournament. Because in the Gulf, they don't go by like when bluefin's in, it goes off the biggest tuna. And then the rest of the year is yellowfin when the season goes out. But they're only in the Gulf for a little bit. Like the end of like mid-July, they kind of leave. But they basically think they come in there and spawn. Because you only catch magnums. Like you don't catch 75-pounders or anything. Like they're 400 to 800 pounds. You know what I mean? They're all magnums. So there's you don't catch the little ones in the Gulf. They're all big.
So is there any comparison that can be made from competing on the Elite Series versus what you do on your off weeks? So, it seems like the only thing that's in common is it's both classified as fishing. Like it's totally different.
It's totally different. But on top of that, we just had enough. Like I got 2 kids, and I just got I want to say he's 3 or 4 months old son. I got a 2.5-year-old girl about to be 3. So I got that to deal with. And we're working when we're not fishing. And we got so many jobs going on. And we got our farm we're dealing with. And then trying to fish marlin tournaments and trying to fish the elites. I have no time for nothing. And it's kind of, you just got to do what that week, what the project of the week is. You just got to do it and move on to it and get ready for the next week. So it's kind of, tackling day by day.
How do you feel the day after you fight a fish for 11 hours?
Oh, my feet.
I imagine a little sore.
I had 2 black lines, or my bottom of my feet were bruised, where I had to stand up the last little bit and fight him and bring him up. It was bad. Like, I was bruised, I was hurt. Like, I couldn't lift my arm over my head. But like, I caught a marlin yesterday, and he was like a 300 to 350 pounder, and I whooped him in like 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
No big deal.
But, yeah, like, we put like 40 pounds of drag on him, and like got him to the boat, and got into the leader and caught him and released him. And I was like, man, that was awesome compared to that other fish. Like, I do not want to catch another bluefin for a long time. I wouldn't mind being on the boat and let somebody else catch one, but I don't feel like catching it.
Yeah, you're not even really fishing unless your feet are bruised and you peed on yourself at least 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like I love hunting and everything, but big game hunting and big game fishing are 2 different things. Like, you're going toe to toe with them, like you're in a fight. It's not like when you shoot whatever you shot and it's dead. That's it. Yeah, you might have to track it, or you might have to put your time in to find it and shoot it, but then it's over in seconds. It's over. A fish don't want to die.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is intense. Like, even like fighting a bass, they don't want to die. It's not like you ran a rabbit up and you shot him. Like, you got to fight the fish. There's so much goes involved till you get him in your hands that it's 50-50 on both sides, whether he's going to get away or you're going to catch him.
Wow. I mean, I always talked to you and said I wanted to go tuna fishing with you, but I don't know that I want to anymore.
We'll catch yellowfins, and we'll just go catch some marlin.
Okay, we won't mess with
marlins are fun stuff.
All right.
We're using those Omni like live sonar, riding around looking for them. So I mean, it's basically like we're live scoping out there, but you're throwing a live bait on them. So yesterday, like in the tournament we was in, we had 8 bites and we only caught 1 fish. So we were bad. We didn't do too good, but we had a lot of bites. So like the last fish we marked, we got over the top of him. He was like 80 foot down, like 50 foot out behind the back. Like, you see him like 1,200 foot away, and you just go over there to him. And so, like, you just like follow him around, try to cut him off, and we threw a bait on him, and our bait was half dead because we didn't pitch it on so many fish, and that was the last bait we had because, we had to be in at 6 o'clock, and it was 2 o'clock, and we were 114 miles away. So, like, it was now or never, and we pitched it on that fish, and he shot up like a rocket, and he was probably he was a kill fish. They had to be 110 inches to kill, and he was probably 500-pound plus fish, and he was like doing laps around. It looked like kind of a big and like a bass trying to eat a glide bait. Like when they're doing laps around it, circling it. He was lapping and circling. I was in the tower, and I was like, "You're about to get eat. Hold it. Wait." And he kind of just swam off, and that was it. But I mean, it's pretty cool to watch him come up. I mean, heck, we had one fish. He bit. We lost him. He come off, and he threw the bait like 20 foot away from him. As soon as it hit the water, another one bit it. And then we lost it too. So we couldn't do crap right this past week.
Is electronics a big deal in that world? Like, is it as controversial as it is in the bass fishing world? And is it the same?
I would say it is. It's the same. So they have categories for live sonar and categories for out live sonar in the marlin tournaments. When they first come out and the guys were live baiting, the guys who were traditional marlin fishing, pulling lures and stuff, they couldn't compete. Because, they go out there and they caught 1 fish in 3 days. They were like, man, we smoked them. Now guys are going out there catching five fish a day, and like it takes a lot to win the release category for fish. So like all the oil rigs and everything out there, there's so much water. Everybody's bringing fuel. Some guys are running, like we ran 236 miles. I mean, there's 3 boats out there with us. So everybody's got, they're bringing an extra 1,500 gallons worth of fuel.
Is it 236 there and back, or 236 each way?
One way.
One way.
It's a post. So you got guys that are running, you're like most of the boats hold anywhere from 1,500 to 3,000 gallons of fuel. Like our boat holds 2,800, and we brought, I think, 500-gallon bladder and then 2 300-gallon bladders. And
So when you roll up to get gas, what's the average?
depends on what marina you're at, really. Most of the time, your fuel's in that $3 to $2.50 range because it's off-road fuel.
Yeah.
So I mean, down there on the coast, it's a little bit cheaper. A lot of guys just call a fuel truck and get a fuel truck to come fill their boats up. That's the cheapest way to do it. But yeah, I mean, there is a lot of money involved in it. But like our entry fee ain't like $6,000 for the tournament. There was like 95 of us.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I mean, it's we was at the casino. Like all the boats were tied up at the casino. So the next morning, takeoff was like at 11, which was pretty good because around 3 o'clock, what I can recall at 3 o'clock, I saw a lot of good captains and deckhands hanging out at the blackjack table shooting crap. I finally our deckhands and stuff, Nick and Zach. I had a guy with our cameraman Travis. He was with us. One of the twins.
Yeah.
And I finally told him, I was like, "Hey man, I'm gone. I'm leaving these guys here. Like they're gonna be there or they're not. I mean, they're grown men. So we just let them ride. We left them to fend for themselves."
So there's a lot of partying that goes on in that world.
And that tournament was because it's at the Golden Nugget in Biloxi at the casino. I mean, you're gonna have that. I mean, the other tournaments, no, it's not near as bad as that. But those they cut a buck there. I mean, they let their hair down. A lot of them guys do. So I mean, as many people was at the weigh-in. I couldn't believe how many people was at a marlin tournament weigh-in. I mean, there's guys bringing tuna, mahi, and marlin. There's people like you would not believe at these weigh-ins.
Really? Like how many people attended weigh-in?
I think there was north of 1,500.
Nice.
I mean, that's a good bit of folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, not to mention everybody just hanging out on the dock and stuff like that, and everybody's friends and family comes because everybody wants to come see what you killed.
Wow.
So
your record's pending. What has to happen for it to be official?
So Thursday, I got the email, and it's like where I had to approve, like we had to sign everything, had our witnesses, and they sent our paper off, and they emailed me back to me and approved it. So they're sending it back. So I'm just waiting on the confirmation email on it now.
All right. So it's official once they confirm it, obviously.
Once they confirm it.
Yeah.
So I mean, there was the original record was like 829, so it wouldn't by much.
Wow. So it wasn't like you dusted it. I mean, a couple of pounds on a 800-pound fish is not much. Like literally, whether that fish went pee during the fight or not.
Yeah,
the difference.
I mean, unless they put it at a tie. So I mean, I doubt they will.
How much? I know in freshwater you have to beat the record by at least 3 ounces. In smaller fish we're talking about. But is there anything like that in saltwater?
There is, and there's a certain percentage, and we was right there at it. I think like the 6 ounce mark is what's going to put me over.
Okay.
So it's close. I mean, it's close.
What do you get like a replica of it or anything? Like what do you do with an 830-pound?
2 days later, I called them up. I was like, "Hey, y'all got this size?" And they were like, "Yeah, we do." Matter of fact, I said, "Cool, let me get it." So, yeah, I mean, I took the head to our taxidermist, and he didn't see a picture of it and everything. And I called him, and as soon as I answered the phone, he was like, "Hell no, don't even bring it. Don't even bring it by." I was like, "No, see, I'm just bringing you the head. I want a European mount." So he's gonna try to get a European mount of the head. And when we cleaned the fish, I took all the skin off the fillets, and I'm gonna get all them tan, and we're gonna try to make like wallets and crap out of them. And it's a big fish.
You're gonna make I want a freaking tuna wallet. What are you gonna do? You gonna sell them?
No, I'm gonna keep them, like hand them out. Like I mean, it's gonna be. I'll probably get a bunch of wallets. I mean, that's a lot of fish. You're talking about like 113 inches worth of fish.
Damn.
And 113 inches goes from the jaw length through the fork of the tail.
Wow. So wallets. What else are you gonna make? Boots?
No, I probably won't make no boots, because that'd be smelling too fishy. But I mean, wallet would be. I'm not going to use the wallet, but I'll have my bluefin wallet.
Yeah, that is a cool wallet to have. I mean, the boots would be cool. You weigh in the classic, the only angler ever to weigh in with boots made out of a fish that he caught, which just happens to be the freaking record.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a lot better than if you had the boots on of a bass record.
Yeah, no,
it's a tuna. Yeah.
People wouldn't take well to that.
No, they wouldn't. Oh, I definitely have to get them tucked in all the way and go across, let the scales shine, make sure the light hits me good. I'd have his little sickles off the back like spurs.
All right. Well, I don't know how many wallets you're getting made up. I'm sure there's a lot of people ahead of the line in me that actually were part of it. But if there is an opportunity for a tuna wallet, I'd love to have a tuna wallet. Just
I would
saying.
be up with the tuna wallet. So we done sent the skin off the been tanned and everything. So I mean, I guess it's kind of like a rattlesnake. You know what I mean? Like snake skin, or I'll guess how they would do it. I'm not sure on the fish hide tanning process how that works.
I
So,
didn't even know it was an option.
well, once I found out it had to happen. But I mean, when we cleaned the fish, it was all you can. Like it took 3 guys or 2 guys to pick up the fillets and like move them around. Like me and my brother, like, so we only took like a quarter of the fish home. Like we took the belly meat, because they go crazy. I think they call it uni.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't like it. It's too fatty. Like when you cut it, like it would be oil dripping off your knife. Like
Really?
yeah, you have to cut it so thin. It was kind of really little fishy tasting, but the steaks were good. I mean, they look like a steering wheel. So one steak feeds a lot of people. But I mean, the amount of fish that it was pretty awesome.
So now you got starting tomorrow. We're recording this on a Sunday evening. So starting tomorrow, you got to pre-fish for Wheeler. And
yeah,
then,
I'm at the house right now, so I live 2 hours away. So I'll be headed there in the morning pretty early.
so how do you shift gears? Like I feel like that would be a big adjustment to go from being on a 66-foot boat called the Fat Chick, fighting a fish for 11 hours.
To being on a 21-foot Phoenix.
I mean, I love my Phoenix.
Yeah.
But you better not pee yourself on it.
Well, I mean, everybody pees on the front deck every once in a while. Depends on how cold it is, how much pees on the deck. But I guess I'm just gonna have my live scope and my minnow cut. I mean, my minnow. I mean, what else do I need? Maybe a drop shot. I feel like getting wild.
Is that what that event's going to be?
I have no idea. I mean, I really don't. I mean, it's if it's anything like Guntersville right now, it's being pressured so hard. I mean, there's boats galore out there fishing, and I don't know. I mean, I just know the Decatur Flats area goes down there like it didn't open last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's really the only relatively recent history we have to go off of it is from that past open. So, I've been doing a lot of studying, research it. I mean, I fished it a long time ago, but I don't know. It'd be an interesting event to see. I'm not banking on any shallow fish. I think everybody's going to be out there amongst each other, scoping around and, just trying to get bit.
And then you get a week off, and then we go to Smith, right?
Correct. When I leave Wheeler, I'm going to Destin, and I'm fishing the Emerald Coast Billfish Classic.
No week off.
Yeah, no week off. So I'm leaving there, and I think the tournament, it's on a Thursday through Saturday, and like awards are on Sunday. So we'll be as soon as I get done with that, I'll be at Smith. But Smith is going to be I'm most excited for Smith out of any tournament this year because
really
nobody there's no tournaments there this time of year because of the boat traffic and it's hot.
You're the first person I've ever heard that said they were excited about it. To be honest.
Well, I mean, because anybody's got a shot. It's like the Sabine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's no guy that's like gonna go in there and blow you out. Like everybody's gonna have to work for them. It's gonna be a fun event to see how everybody catches them. Like I like the Sabine. Like I like the Sabine. Yeah. I like a grinder like that. And so I'm excited about Smith. You really if you catch a 4-pounder, you're a hero. Like it's gonna be a definitely interesting tournament because they bumped the size limit on the spotted bass to 15 inches.
Oh boy, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, so they still weigh less than a pound being on Smith Lake. But I mean, I am excited about it. Smith ought to be fun. I mean, you go up there and usually when you go to Smith, you catch a pile of fish. I have know anything about it. I know that they have a lot of night tournaments and it takes a little weight to win the night tournaments. But what lake don't? They all bite good at night. That's why some guys fish at night because you can't catch them in the day. So.
Well, it's busy during the day too, right?
It is. I mean, Smith Lake it's a bumping place. I mean, you got Birmingham right there, Coleman. Then you have, Decatur, which they have Wheeler. But I mean, Smith Lake's a wakeboard lake. I mean, that's what them folks like to do over there. There was the wake boat bandit who was drilling holes in people's boats and sinking them, all the wake boats.
Well, I have not heard of the wake boat bandit. Please fill me in.
Last year there was a wake boat bandit. He was like drilling holes in people's boats, like on their dock, their big old like wake boats or whatever they're called, and he was getting a drill and drilling holes in them and sinking a bunch of them. They ended up catching him, but he was called the wake boat bandit.
The wake boat bandit.
Yeah. He's a hero in the bass fisherman eyes, but a criminal nonetheless. But not all heroes wear capes, I guess.
Oh, you're going to cumulatively, like through this whole season, I just keep thinking about it. You fought a tuna for 11 hours. Like if you add all the fish you catch up this entire season in the Elite Series, not even close to 11 hours worth of fighting.
No, I mean, not even close. Unless you was Patrick Walters, then you may be able to do it. But me, no, not on that end of the
Well, no,
deal.
I didn't mean it like that, but I mean, like, even if
Yeah.
you're hammering them, even if you're catching 100 a day,
Yo, there'd be no way to get close.
no.
And and like you got a 130-pound line, and you're leaning back with everything you got fighting the fish. I mean, it's wild. I mean, to really like to go big game fishing, and it's completely different from big game hunting.
Yeah.
So
Was there ever a moment when you were fighting it that you were like, oh, I just screwed up. I'm about to lose it, or I lost it, or you were just like, you're done, fish. You met your
no,
match.
there was never a moment I was done. I was thinking you SOB the entire time. It's kind of like on, like with Jaws when he's reeling it in. He's like, the taxidermist is going to crap when he sees what I bring him. That's kind of like we was all cutting up in the beginning about it. And then after a while, we were like, everybody got quiet and was getting nervous because we had to see what it was. That's the worst part about deep sea fishing. You fight something for a long time and then lose it. You don't know what it was. It
So
don't matter.
how far into the fight did it take you to realize what it was? Was it like the very end when you realized what it was? Or?
So when it died, like when it planed, like when it dove down deep, then it come back out, then he scoped out line, and we was waiting for. Like if he was a big yellowfin, you would see his sickles come up, like he would cruise on top. He was a big marlin, he'd have done jumped and done showed himself. Well, this fish never showed himself, but he planed out on top. So I mean, he was right there on the surface, but he was probably 300 yards away from us, never seen him. And then he went straight down and died. And so the problem is he died when he was going down, so he was steadily pulling drag because that's just too much fish to stop. So when he finally got up under the boat, and like tilted his head up, then we could slowly start to bring him up. We had to bump the boat in gear, and then I'd reel in like a foot or two of line. Then we had to bump it in gear, and I'd had to reel in a foot or two of line. But it was, I mean, steady pressure. It was nonstop. The rod stayed bowed the entire time. So there's like the reels have two in. It's like, so we put in low gear, and I sat there and cranked on him for a long time. But I mean, when you got one, I just wanted to be done with it, sit down, take a break, and then everybody's wigging out, like trying to get the fish in the boat. And you don't want to be that guy standing there, even though you can barely walk. So that's what I was. That's what we had to deal with.
So you get the fish in the boat. So whoever it was in the boat that decided you wanted to stay up for another 10 hours of fishing, but during that 10 hours, what did you do? Like, I feel like I would have just laid in the fetal position.
Be honest with you, I ate like a popsicle on a drumstick, drank a few drinks, hung out, and just sat there on the back deck thinking. I told my dad, I was like, hey, marlin bites, you got it. I'm good. He was like, I can do it. I was like, okay, but I just want to let y'all know I don't want to get back in the chair today. And so we rode around for a little bit, and we came on back in. I mean, it was exhausting. I mean, I was so happy. And I told the captain, like, we got it in the boat, and like we got our permit turned in and everything. Looked at the captain, I was like, we about to head back. He was like, nah, dog, we about to fish. I was like, oh, really? He was like, why do you look so sad? And I was like, because I'm tired, ready to go. So, yeah, there is no turning back. Like I thought when Zach got cut with the drone, I thought, we're going in. Like, and everybody on the boat was like, hey, we need to go. And our captain was like, oh, hell, he'll be high. So.
Well, tell me, can you tell me that story real quick? I mean, I know you've kind of told me that story, but tell me that story real quick.
We'll run through real quick.
People are going to wonder what happened.
Try to fly a drone, a big drone, like it pick up 4 pounds of weight. Tried to fly it. With the line broke out of the line clip we had on it, so we was going to bring it back, and we're just going to clip the line on and go. And our deckhand Zach, he tried to grab it because he thought it was going to come into the boat, but it has those safety stuff on those drones where they start wigging out. So when he grabbed it, it wigged out on him and cut his arm and cut him 3 places pretty bad. He had like a 3, a 4, and a 6-inch gash in his arm. When it hit him, he did a little cussing, threw the chunk the drone, hit the boat, scratched the teacup. And I turned around and looked, and his arm just like peeled all the way open. I can see like white and just nasty and gross, and his skin's rolled back. And he's just looking at me in shock. And he said I ran from him, but I did not. I went in there and opened the door and told everybody, hey, get some towels for Zach. Zach got his arm cut off. I was trying to tell them the significance of the situation. And, I mean, he was a trooper. He never once complained. I thought he was going to pass out a couple times. And we got him taken care of. Like I said, there was a boat beside us, a ship that was tended to an oil rig. and we got medical supplies from them, and we patched him up. And my uncle just so happened to have shoulder surgery and had like a pain pill on hand all the time. My uncle's like, "You might need this worse than me there, Zach." And so he took it and went to sleep, and we came in the next day that evening at 6 o'clock. So you got to be in it. Everybody had to be in at 6. We come pulling in at the check mark, like you got to call in on the radio, say fat chick checking in, and they have a boat sitting there at the post, and we come in rolling in at like 5:59 with 30 seconds to spare, coming in to check in. So I mean, the check-in on those is the exact same as an elite tournament. Everybody pushes the last second. I mean, going 114 miles one way in a boat that you're only going 40 miles an hour in, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's there's a lot of similarities involved. There's a fun factor on both of them. That's a little different. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think in a bass tournament, if you cut your arm like that, people are coming in.
Oh yeah, you're definitely coming in. 100% coming in. But you also ain't got 8 guys on a boat, and you got my dad just got done grilling steaks, and so we got Zach in. There's all this steaks laid out in front of him. He's like, "Man, I can't eat that. Y'all see my arm?" I was like, "Yeah, we're good." And so Travis, we kept on making fun of him. Was like, "You want to get Travis in here to chop these steaks up for you?" There was a lot of play in it. Travis, he did not mean to do it. It was more Zach's fault than anything, because Travis told him stop, don't grab it. He grabbed it anyway, and it was pretty funny. We told Travis he's on the cutting edge of technology. He didn't appreciate none of the jokes we had. We got back to the dock, and everybody's like, "We heard y'all had an injury, so we had to have we got to weigh in a little bit quicker than everybody else, so they can get a medic on the boat." And they stapled him up inside the boat and everything. And we was telling everybody got bit by a shark. He tried to leader a shark, and it swiped him. So we looked cool for a little bit. Name's fat shit guy got bit by a shark. It was cool. Just for a little bit. Till everybody realized he got hit by a drone and started making fun of him, then it went downhill from there.
I got bit by a shark while riding the fat chick. Wow.
Yeah,
I am too immature to talk to you, it turns out. I mean,
yeah, well, the commentary that comes off the name of fat chick is pretty good. I mean, it's hard to go out the pass and everybody's doing this right here. We're like, "Yeah, biggins." It's the jokes is never endless on the boat about it, though.
Yeah.
It's always gold.
Well, congratulations. That's an awesome fish catch. But we need to do more of these. I need to have you on this show more, because I feel like we have just scratched the edge of your tales.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. I mean, we got like a 35 contender too, and we go out and kill a bunch of fish in it. So it's the saltwater fishing is so much fun. And don't get me wrong, I'm so thankful and blessed to be in the Bassmaster Elite Series. Like, it's a dream come true. I'm loving it. But right now, I'm finding that fine balance between the both of them. And right now, I'm trying to dive in and put everything you can on one, but you leave trying to kill a 1,000-pound fish one week to searching for, a 12-incher the next week. So it's kind of hard to find that perfect groove to get into.
Yeah.
You don't want to get in that, like when we catch bait in the mornings, like everybody, we start at 3 o'clock in the morning catching bait, filling our tuna tubes, and that's miserable. There's nothing worse than waking up at 3 and walking outside, and the first thing you're doing is fighting fish. Like, it is not that nice. And then you have like the diesel and the spray coming up hitting you, and it's kind of, everybody hates making bait. I mean, that is a fact. So we try to make bait with electric reels every once in a while and try to skid them across the water, the little black fins and bonitas. But even the making the bait's a struggle of itself.
Wow. Do people from that world, I mean, are they impressed when they find out you fished last year's Bassmaster Classic, or are they just like, well, why do you fish it for bait?
So like everybody, so it was like we was hanging out, like people in the casino. They was like, he fishes bass tournaments, and they were like, okay, cool. I was like, yeah. They're like, like he fishes, like he's a for real, like the Elite Series, and they were like, oh, okay, like y'all guys are on TV. I was like, yeah, I'm a part of that group, but I'm not so much on TV, but I'm a part of that group. And they were like, oh, okay, yeah. So what do you think about this? I was like, man, it's a blast. Like, it's all fun. Everybody's cutting up. I mean, the harshness of the jokes on that is nothing compared to the Elite Series guys. I mean, these guys are rough. I mean, it is. I mean, you have way more laughs.
Really?
Yeah, they ain't got nobody policing them. No sponsors holding them back. You know what I mean? And so, like, one of our deck hands, Roe, he was like, hey, that guy that's got like that mullet and the ugly stick. I was like, yeah, I know him. He's like, what's his name? I was like, his name's Matt. He was like, we're going to bring Matt fishing? I was like, I think, Matt, he'd probably cause a fight out here. He'd probably be pretty rough on everybody. They were like, no. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of, it'd be iffy to see. So I told Matt I'd take him fishing, but at what cost? I don't know what it'd be worth.
Maybe take Matt that time we go. When we go, I think I want to be present for this.
You have to hold him back and not, peer pressure him. Like if you told him to bring a Speedo, he probably would, and that's the problem we'd be having.
Yeah. You don't want to wear a Speedo with a fat chick.
Yeah, Matt Robertson on a boat named the Fat Chick with a red Speedo on and his mullet. I don't want to be a part of it. If he kept his clothes on, that would be great. But I mean, he fished on live in his underwear. What's going to stop him from being in the ocean in a Speedo?
Probably not much. Other than the fear of sharks, that's about it.
Yeah, I hope that we'd have to tell them, man, they're really bad. You might want to keep it up. You might want to keep it stored away. It's bad this year.
It's messed up when you have to convince an adult to keep their clothes on.
Yeah. I mean, we usually don't have that problem on the boat.
No, I imagine not.
Yeah.
You got to pre-fish early in the morning. I don't want to keep you too long, but congratulations. That's an awesome fish, awesome stories, and I feel like we're gonna talk more on this show in the future if you're willing.
Hopefully we'll be talking after Wheeler, and then right after the Destin tournament, we kill us a big longbill.
Deal.
I mean, that's the goal.
Get on TV.
Yeah. I mean, they used to have that TV on the billfish stuff. They ain't doing it this year.
Oh, yeah. No. Well, I'm sure if you keep catching them like that, they will do it. I mean, get on TV during the Elite Series. Like, go. They're both in Alabama. You caught an 831. I caught an 832, was it? Pound tuna. I don't think, I would show up with a whole different mojo at the troughs. Like,
oh yeah,
nice.
The problem is I got to go catch 5 of them. I can't just go catch one and be done. You know what I mean? I got to catch 5.
If it's 832 pounds, you'd be fine. You'll be done.
Yeah. I tell everybody, hey, I see y'all Sunday morning. I'm going to hang out till then.
So, David Gaston.
I'm fired up. I mean, I'm excited about the rest of the year. New York's always fun. And I mean, heck, Smith Lake and Wheeler. I mean, it's going to be exciting. It always is in the league. So you never know. That's the fun thing about it. Is these guys catch them. You never know who or what's going to go down. And something always happens, and it's always interesting to be a part of it.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out for you. So after Wheeler, or after Smith, do you get a week off then?
They have it now. They got one on the 4th of July tournament, and it is everybody in the world fishes it for blue marlin. Biggest fish wins in the entire world. It starts in Australia, ends in Hawaii, and you get lines in at 7, lines out at 4. So depending on what zone you're in, that's what time you have the fish, and then whoever catches the biggest fish wins. It's like $3 million.
Damn.
I know. So I mean, that's pretty wild. A one-day tournament, everybody in the world's in.
So yeah, you don't have a week off, is what you're saying.
The July, I'm gonna be doing a lot of fishing in July. So yeah, I mean, I think I got 2 more in July, marlin tournaments. So I mean, it'll be a lot of fun. Like they got like junior kids tournaments, then women tournaments and stuff like that. But I think we got like the Billfish Classic, like the big one. I think it's in the middle of July. So It's gonna be exciting. I mean, it's so much fun. You get to grill steaks and eat ribs. My dad's always he figured the air fryer out, so we're having chicken wings for lunch every day out there.
Nice.
Oh, it's a ball. Then you get ice cream and popsicles.
What?
Yeah, drumsticks, man. Like drumsticks with peanuts on it. That's the deal.
I think I've been missing. I think I fit in much better in that world. Is there a loudmouth like me that yells stuff when you guys weigh in fish?
Our Captain Pip, he's pretty rough on everybody.
Okay. No, I mean when you bring the fish back in at the tournament, is there tournament? No, people just look.
He's not near as good as what you do. You're the best in the business, so you got to deal with that. But the guy they had over there, he was kind of a little bit of a, he did a good job, but he wasn't Dave Mercer.
Well, hey, I mean, I'm all about drumsticks and air fried wings, so you never know. I might show up there one day. All right, dude. I'll see you in a few days on Wheeler Lake, and thank you very much.
Yes, sir. See you, Dave.
See you, brother. Well, it took me till this point in my life to realize that you are not really fishing unless you urinate on yourself and end up with bruises on your feet for fighting a fish for 11 hours. What an incredible story. And I thank David Gaston for sharing it with us. But we have another incredible story coming your way, and so different. I mean, you guys know I'm all about a positive vibe, a good vibe. The world needs more goodness, and you're going to get some. This young angler has a very bright future and an incredible story. Don't go anywhere, because next up we have Marshall Arnwine, the homeless fisherman. So this is a little different for me, to be honest, because most of the guests I know really well. I have no idea. We've never met before. I one day went into this. I found this video, The Homeless Fisherman. I started watching it, and I watched more and more of your videos, and literally reached out to you. I'm like, I can't believe I've never heard of this guy. But you are the homeless fisherman. Is that a legit, or is that just a YouTube spin on things?
So I live in a van full time, 100%. I don't have an apartment or anything like that. It used to be, I used to just live in like a truck. So I've kind of upgraded. So if you want to call me homeless, you can. If not, whatever. It's just a screen name. But I do live in a van full time, always on the road. This is it right here. This is Ethel, my 1996 Ford Ecoline, and she gets me everywhere. So yeah.
Ethel. Why Ethel?
Ethel was actually the name of the first bass that they put in the ShareLunker program. I thought that was pretty fitting. It's kind of an old lady name, you know. The van's pretty old. She's got some week-old knees. I was like, that's an Ethel for sure, you know.
Wow, that is a great. I mean, here's how old I am. I actually saw Ethel when Ethel was alive in Bass Pro Shops, because they had Ethel lived there for a bunch of years, and I remember looking in the aquarium and being like, "Oh, that's Ethel." No, that's Ethel. And then this shadow came out from behind, and I'm like, no, that, like, it was a whole different creature.
Dude, that picture of I can't remember his name. I actually went on my dad took me on a guide trip with him when I was little bitty. I can't remember his name, but the dude who caught it, like the picture where he's holding it up, and the fat, like the belly is just like rolling off of his hands like it's a big jello blob. I was like, dude, that's such a sick photo. Like, it's an old school grainy, like barely colored. Like, that's such a cool photo. Legendary.
Well, it's good to meet you. Your legit name is Marshall Arnwine, correct? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, you got it right. I'm actually surprised you got that right. Most people don't. They miss the N, Arwine. But yeah, you got it right.
Well, I'm glad I got that. I say names for a living, but I get a lot of them wrong. So I'm glad I got that right. But how'd you become the homeless fisherman? I mean, is this all like well, I'll just shut up and you tell me where did this start, and when did you decide to just live in a van down by a river, literally?
So, like I said, a lot of people don't know this story, and I get a lot of comments online. They're like, "Oh, you're not really homeless," or "Oh, like da da da," and I'm like, I get where they're coming from, but 3 years ago now, in 2022. Or no, 2 years ago. Excuse me. I guess it hasn't been that long. I'm so sorry. 2021, right? The year of 2021. I really was homeless. Just circumstances in life, like you end up in places, you know, and homelessness comes in different waves. Like, I'm not saying I was the most, like, you know, I wasn't like the worst side of it. I've never been like addicted to any drugs or anything like that. And there's a lot of different, like I said, there's different, like, it's a spectrum. But I was literally no home. I had my original pickup truck. It was a single cab. I was like curled up in the cab at night. I was eating out of the garbage. I was in Florida. It was not awesome, right? But like I said, you just end up places in life, and one thing that kept me going through all that was my fishing. Like, fishing is something you do for free, obviously, right? So I would go fishing still, with all the little lures and stuff that I could find. I remember going and stealing hooks and stuff so I could go fishing, like just little hooks from like Academy and stuff. Because I was like, I'm not gonna not fish, you know what I mean? I have to kind of keep me sane. And I had a TikTok at the time, and I kind of would post like a diary journal type thing every day, just to like keep moving. I was like, I need to record, I need to write something down, just speaking to something. And it kind of blew up. Like, people were like, hey dude, can we send you money? And I was like, oh my God, like, people are donating, and like I can actually go buy a burger. You know what I mean? I was like, this is crazy. I saved up a little bit of money, and I drove up to Minnesota, and that's where I met Kyle from Throwback Swim Baits, and he kind of took me in, helped me out a little bit, and now I'm here. He was like, "You want to make a living doing this?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And he's like, "You can." So I've been working at it ever since. I really haven't taken a day off, you know what I mean? Like in 2 or 3 years. It's all just like my entire life. Every dollar that I get goes back into the content. If if I make $1, I'm spending it fishing or driving somewhere to make a video. You know what I mean? And that's what I truly enjoy. So that's it. That's the story.
So you legit at one time were eating out of garbages.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I mean, other than being in a bad situation, I mean, there's got to be a moment, like there's probably a few days where you're like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And then finally you're like,
Well,
screw it. It looks good to me.
I mean, obviously sometimes you got to eat, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
sometimes like I got to eat. There was a little bit of stealing involved, but I only stole from like, the big corporations, but not like a lot. I was just like, dude, I got to eat, you know what I mean? Like I didn't have any money. I didn't have anything to go anywhere, and like I said, that's it comes in different in different like parts of your life, you know what I mean? Like some people are homeless in different ways, and like I said, I wasn't like the absolute like worst circumstances in the world, but I was there, you know what I mean? And it's different for everybody. And you know what I mean? A low point in your life is still a low point in your life, no matter whose life it is, you know what I mean? There's no point in comparing all that. But yeah, no, it was definitely interesting, and I think it helped me though. It made me who I am for sure. You know what I mean? I mean, it quite literally made me who I am, but also like figuratively.
Do you still think about those days?
Yeah,
Often?
all the time. Yeah, all the time. And I'm like, man, that was wild. It feels like so long ago too, is the thing, because I feel like every day I've just been like so like on top of stuff and trying to get places that I look back and I'm like, oh my god, that was only 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. I'm like, that's wild, I mean, that's weird to me because it feels like so long ago, but
So right now, I mean, you've fairly active YouTube. I mean, TikTok's still a big thing for you, I assume. All socials.
I actually don't post on TikTok anymore. I kind of just got tired of it. We got burnt out a little bit. I enjoy Instagram and YouTube the most, I think.
Yeah.
So I just took my stress off that. I was like, no, I'm not going to worry about that, because that's like you got to be on top of that platform. You got to be posting multiple times a day. You got to be up with the trends. And I'm just not like that. I'm not a trendy guy. Okay. I post what I want, you know what I mean? And you can post what you want on Instagram or YouTube and it still does good. If you post what you want on TikTok, it doesn't do good. So I was just like, whatever, I'm over that,
So when was the final decision made that I'm a content? I mean, when we were setting up for this, you said, hey, I got a tripod. I'm a content creator. I have to have that. So when did that decision really start to, I mean, because I'm shocked it took me, with as many followers as you have, I'm shocked it took me this long to find you. But when I did, I'm like, this guy's videos are genuine, they're real, they're interesting, and they seem very legit. When did that switch go off in your head?
So I mean, I have been making videos since I was a little kid, honestly. I've been like, even when I was like 10, I was making like little skits with my friends. I remember the first time I got like an editing app where I could stitch videos together, and I was like, dude, it's over. Like we can make movies, right? And so we went out and just made dumb stuff, you know what I mean, as a kid. And that's kind of where I learned to edit. Like I've been editing since 10 years old, and I realize now that like, wow, I have a big giant head start against everybody else because I started so young. And then, like I said, I started making fishing videos when I was like, early high school, like freshman. And I kind of just kept making videos here and there. And then, like I said, when I met up with Kyle, he kind of told me, he was like, dude, you could literally do this for a living. And that's where it was like, oh, I can. Like, okay, that's it. I'm just going. Like there's no turning back. So like since then, it's just been like doing everything I possibly can to grow the following to make a living doing this. And finally it is full time as of like probably a year ago. It went like enough where I could live off of it and just keep going. I had to work little jobs here and there to get by, you know what I mean, before, but now I'm at the point where it's full time, which is really cool. It's not like a real job, you know what I mean? I couldn't pay rent if I had to, but it's enough for me to get by and I'm fine with it. So I'm happy,
So where do you, I mean, obviously you sleep in your van, but where do you, like, are you going to campsites? Are you parking at a Buc-ee's? Like where are you parking?
Yeah. I mean, it depends. Like sometimes I'll go to a campsite or by the lake. Like sometimes a lot of the lakes here in Texas have, nice little campsites where you can park for free. Planet Fitness parking lot. If I'm not sure where I am or whatever, like I was just in Colorado, and I don't really know any of the spots there, so I'll just hop in the Planet Fitness parking lot and then kind of figure it out. You gotta scope it out depending on where you can park. You can't park everywhere, obviously. You get woken up some places, but usually safe bets are like Walmart's, Planet Fitness, and then by the lake if it's open late at night.
So most of your stuff that I've seen is in Texas. What were you doing in
Mhm.
Colorado?
I just got bored and I wanted to go up there and had a little change. I just wanted to change the scenery. So I went up there and fished with a couple buddies and just enjoyed the mountains and fish for trout and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. I do keep Texas as like a home base. Because I don't know, it's my home. You know what I mean? Like it's my original home. Like I always love Texas. And I think that's where I'm gonna catch the biggest bass in the United States. If it's gonna be anywhere, probably gonna be Texas. So that's a good place to stay.
So growing up, you grew up in Texas, right?
Yep. I grew up in Fort Worth.
So the 10-year-old version of you that was learning to edit, did you ever imagine that? And how old are you now? Like late 20s?
20, 22.
22.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I thought you were like 27, 28, but 22. So 12 years ago, could you have ever imagined this being your life?
No, I wanted to be. I know that when I was 10, I wanted to be Steve Irwin. That was like my goal, and I feel like I got pretty close. I'm okay with that. Like I'll take it. You know what I mean? That was what I wanted to do, but I didn't think like I don't know. I never like I would look at John B and all the YouTube guys and be like, no way. Like you know what I mean? That's impossible. I watched them grow, but now that like I look at it more practically, I'm like, dude, if you just put in the work and you just do it consistently, you can get there. You know what I mean? That's all it is. You just keep doing it, you'll get good enough. It's like working out. You go to the gym every day, you're going to get strong in 2 years. You know what I mean? If you post every day for 2 years, you're going to get good at making content and you're going to blow up. That's just how it is. People who don't blow up or people who don't do good online are people who fall off. You know what I mean? They just, oh, I'll do it for 2 weeks and then like, oh, it's not working. I give up. You know what I mean? No, you got to, there's no trying. There's either doing it or don't doing it. You know what I mean? Like you just have to go out there and do it every day. And that's the philosophy I take. You know what I mean? Just like as long as I'm doing something towards it every single day, like even if I'm half-assing it, I'd rather half-ass it for 5 days a week than do it when I'm motivated. You know what I mean? Like you have to go out there and you have to do it. You have to make the content. You have to post it. That's how it goes. So I just figured that out pretty early, I think, and it worked out.
That is the key to anything in life, I think. Just keep showing up. I mean, and
Yep.
people, and it really, you're right. It doesn't matter what it is, whether you're trying to be a real estate agent, whether you're trying to be a YouTuber, you're trying to be an actor or
Yep.
an athlete. Just keep showing up. And that's the difference where
That
everybody
is it.
expects things so quick.
Go ahead.
Did you ever hit that point where you're like, man, I'm not doing this anymore? Or has that not even been thought for you?
I've had a couple moments where I was like, dang, dude, I don't know. But it's always like in the middle of winter time when the fishing's really bad and it's just hard to make videos and stuff like that. But now I've gotten to the point where no, like that thought doesn't cross my mind anymore. Like I've grown enough where I'm like, no, if I just keep going, like it'll happen. You know what I mean? It's just like fishing. Like if you give up at the lake, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like of course it's not gonna happen. Like you're not gonna catch a fish without a line in the water, so you just have to be out there. You just have to be amongst them. So I take the same philosophy. You know what I mean? Even if it's low and even if I'm like, oh God, like views are bad or whatever, like no, just keep going. Just keep going. Show up. I like that. Show up.
What's your ultimate goal?
To catch the world record.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
And you
Yep. That's my goal.
and how close have you gotten?
Not close yet, but obviously, you know what I mean? That's a long process. Yeah, no, this all for me is an ends to a means at this point. If I can make content and film fishing to live, then I can fish more often and to get more shots. You know what I mean? The trying to maximize all my time on the water and what I can do to catch the world record. That's it.
It's a great goal. It's a great goal. So I totally I mean, I guess I was assuming you shouldn't do that, but I assumed your goals would be like, hey man, I want X amount of followers or whatever. Your goal is that world record. And along the way, you're probably
Yeah,
going to get a bunch of followers.
yeah, all that other stuff doesn't really like it doesn't it's great and it's nice to meet people and it's great to like have the money, but at the end of the day, no. Like the end of the day, the goal is to catch the world record. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just something about that like pursuit for me. You know what I mean? That does it for me. Like hunting it and trying to figure out where it might be or trying to catch a bigger bass. You know what I mean? That's always it. Like just getting better at fishing. It's like I said, the content creation is an ends to a means for me.
Yeah.
It is great, but it's not my ultimate goal. You know, if I just had a ridiculous amount of money right now, if I just had $1 billion, I would not make videos. I would be every day. I would be hunting for that fish. You know what I mean? Like so, this is like my way to get there. You know.
I don't think that makes you much different than most people who fish for a living. I mean, that I've said that about my career, the stuff that I've been able to do and get to do. I mean, literally, it all started with one thing. School was ending, and I was like, man, I got to figure out a way to freaking keep doing this. I don't want to. I would see friends and people and be like, all of a sudden, man, that person used to fish a ton, and now you never see them fishing. And it was that drive to just keep a way to doing it. But the way you do it is somewhat different. I mean, a lot of your stuff's done on a stand-up paddleboard, correct?
Yeah, the paddleboard style is like my main thing. I think it's for me personally, I think a lot of people have their own opinions on it, but I think it's how I'm going to catch the world record. I think it's the most stealthy. I think it's the most control. I just don't think that I don't think you're going to catch that fish with a big trolling motor. I don't think you're going to catch that fish with a live scope beam. I don't think you're going to catch that fish, you know what I mean, in other ways like that. Like you have to have the stealth, you have to have the mobility at that. And that's what does it for me. I think that's the best way. And it's not like, I would say it's not the most efficient way to catch giants. Like you're not going to go out there and catch a bunch of 10 pounders, and I don't. But I think in terms of presenting my bait properly to those big fish, I think I have more shots in a different area. You know what I mean? It's like when you're on a boat, you have a bunch of shots because you're hitting all these spots. When I'm on the paddleboard, I have different shots because I'm just silent. Like nobody knows I'm there. You know what I mean? I can present in such a way that no one else can. And you know what I mean? Like I adopt the philosophy of like soaking. Like I definitely will soak a spot for sure. Cause I know there's like a lot of these spots, I know there's fish there. I'm like, dude, there's giant fish here. And it's just like soak it until it bites. You know what I mean? Like really be in there and become part of the spot. It's the thing like Bill Murphy said, like becoming part of the spot. But yeah, I like the paddleboard the best. That's my favorite. I don't think there's any other way to do it really.
You have such a unique and cool outlook on things at a time when, you know, in competitive fishing, the big arguments about forward facing sonar, whether it should be there, shouldn't be there. There's people saying, oh, people are getting priced out of the sport. And you've got, but it's so technically, it's all about technology and investment. And you're kind of like dial it way back to the instinct and what fishing traditionally was meant to be, I imagine.
Just like it just sounds like a bunch of excuses to me when they're like, oh, I can't afford that sonar. Well, I'm just gonna do it without it. You know what I mean? I think you have an advantage without it. You know what I mean? Like there are, and I've been on buddies' boats to have it. You know what I mean? And I've fished with it before. I've caught fish with it. I'm like, whoa, that's cool, right? It is an interesting technology, but I think there are plenty of fish out there that get completely used to things like that. You know what I mean? Some of the strikes that I have on my paddleboard that would never ever happen on a boat, like where they come up right next to the board and just crush it right next to it, or you know what I mean, just certain scenarios that I can get myself into that other people cannot get themselves into. I'm gonna lean into that as hard as I can, you know what I mean, instead of trying to be like, oh, if I had this, like no, watch what I can do with this. You know what I mean? My little $200 paddleboard, I'll outfish you.
So when I watch you fish a paddleboard, I don't think I've ever seen you stand on the paddleboard. Why not a kayak? Like the way you fish, you sit down on a stand-up paddleboard.
So one, I think standing up just gives you like more eye shot for the bass. Like they're going to see you faster.
Wow.
Like sitting, you're more low profile. And then another thing is that when I fish on my paddleboard, I drop my legs in the water and I kind of use it to control. So I'll go counterclockwise to turn the nose. I can really hold myself in the wind. I can hold myself, I can turn my nose like this. If I'm coming down a bank, I can stay angled right. If you've ever fished in a kayak, you know that it is like, you're not steering that thing. If it's any sort of windy, you're going to put
Yeah.
your paddle fast and then you're already over here, right? Like there is no control with that thing, but I have ultimate control on the paddleboard. That's what I can do. Like I can stay in the spot, I can anchor with my foot if I need to. I can put it on the shore. Just a lot of stuff like that. I think that's like I said, that's the way I've caught the biggest fish, and that's the way that lets me fish optimally. You know what I mean?
So do you have multiple paddle boards, or is this one paddle board you travel with?
One right now, yeah. I actually just bought a nice one. I used to fish with a bunch of Amazon special paddle boards that were like $200. I just got me a nice new one though. It's pretty fun. Yeah, just one.
What are the advantages of a nicer paddle board versus the Amazon paddle boards?
So, I mean, like anyone getting into it, I'd be like, dude, just buy a $200 paddleboard on Amazon and run it, because they're all like very similar quality. This one in particular that I bought it because the specs were just right. It's 30 inches wide, which is a little more narrow than most boards. It makes it easier to straddle, and I can
Yeah.
get more legs. 10'10", I like that. But just little things mainly. It has like the D rings. The backpack is really nice. It's just like little stuff about that. Honestly, get a cheap one. It doesn't matter. Like I'm just like the level I'm operating on now. I'm like, okay, I might as well spend a little extra to get all these little nice features. But really, I just like it plain Jane, like bare bones. Because to me, like I look at the paddleboard and I'm like, dude, this is like a nice blank slate where I could do anything I want to it. You know what I mean? I could put like my crate on the back, or I could install an anchor rope if I wanted to. I could strap whatever you want. You can just do whatever you want to it. You know what I mean? You could just run it with nothing. You just have your board, your paddle, and your rod and go. You know what I mean? And I like that blank slate versus the kayak, because the kayak is just like, I feel like everything's like, oh, you got to have this mount attachment, and then you got to have this specific thing here. And it's like you're sitting in this chair all day and you can't really, like, no, I like the freedom of the paddleboard. You know what I mean?
Very cool. Very cool. You have you always, I mean, you're definitely a different thinker than a lot of people probably your age. Have you always been that way? Do you feel like, I mean, you're kind of, I don't even know if you know who this is, but you're kind of the Spicoli of bass fishing.
I've heard. Yeah. I don't know. I just like, I just think about what I have and what I can do with it. You know what I mean? That's it. Like, um, I don't know. I don't know. I sometimes I think about things and I'm like, that, I don't know, it just makes sense to me. You know what I mean? When I say all this out loud, and it kind of upsets me when I hear people, like I said, make excuses about what they have or what they can't do because they don't have this thing. I'm like, dude, you just gotta figure it out. You know what I mean? I like figuring stuff out. I like getting creative, and I like coming up with solutions for things. You know what I mean? That's all life is. You get a problem and it's like, all right, what do we do? Fix it. How do we fix it? What do we do? You know what I mean? I like moving. I like continuing. But
Very smart. Very smart way to look at life. Do you have stresses in your life? Like, what's the most stressful thing that you deal with?
I definitely stress out. I mean, everybody stresses out. Most stressful thing, I don't know. I guess it would be like sometimes find a place to sleep, or maybe like cooking is like sometimes a pain in the butt. But overall, like I try not to stress too hard. Like I said, I just adopt that philosophy of like something happens and it's like, all right, what do we do? Like just start moving, you know what I mean? Like start moving to fix it. You know what I mean? Like there's no point in just giving up and laying around and let it happen. It's like, what are you going to do? What's the next step? Because that's the only way you're going to get closer to fixing something. Is to take the first step. So I don't know. That's kind of what I've done. Like I said, that's what I've done in my life pretty much. It took a few people to tell me, hey, you can actually do this. But like I said, Kyle's probably my biggest inspiration there, when he was just like, dude, just do this and you got it. Like, just keep moving. And I'm like, okay, sick. And I've used that throughout my entire life. Just anything that comes at me. You know what I mean? What do we do? Step one.
So growing up, you wanted to be Steve Irwin. And I think, I mean, dude, one of my biggest fears on earth is snakes. And I've watched you just grab snakes out of the water.
Yeah. Thanks.
Is that education, or is that stupidity in action? What am I seeing?
I definitely know my snakes. Like I've done all the research. I've watched every episode of Crocodile Hunter. I know what snakes are what. I don't, I know, I'm not, of course, I'm not going around just grabbing like venomous snakes. You know what I mean? That's like obvious. But most of the snakes I'm grabbing are like rat snakes or, just stuff like that. That's not water snakes that aren't going to hurt me at all. I kind of know, I know which snake is which, you know what I mean? And I enjoy I enjoy like creatures, you know what I mean? Like I enjoy picking up creatures and, like that's kind of what stemmed my original like interest in fishing was like I used to run around and catch, lizards and stuff in the yard. And I would go down to the dock at the lake and there would be these people like I remember people holding up these big like at my home lake they had freshwater drum. That was like a big they were everywhere. You
Yeah.
just catch crawdads like all the time. And they would like hold these big freshwater drum up and I would be like, "Can I touch it?" And I would touch it like this is like 7-year-old me and I'd be like, "Let me touch it." And I was like, "Dad, like I gotta like how can I touch more of these fish? Like I want to get them for myself, you know what I mean?" Because it was just like how many creatures can I collect? And then like after he took me bluegill fishing, I was like, "Oh my God." Like it's just like something clicked, you know what I mean? Something clicked in my head and I was like, that's all I gotta do is fish. So it stems from a love of like all creatures, you know what I mean? I just like I like seeing reptiles. I like seeing their little mannerisms, you know what I mean? The way they eat, the way they interact with their environment. It's interesting because it's not like we think about things, you know what I mean? They just something happens and they react. There is no
Yeah.
there's thought process like, oh, what if? Like, no, it's just instant. And I don't know. Something about that is interesting to me. I look at it and wonder, you know what I mean?
Travel with it, a little dude. What is it? Archie? Is
Yeah.
that what kind of lizard is Archie?
Archie is a bearded dragon. Yeah, he's a great fishing companion.
Are you
Um,
looking at Archie right now? Is that
right
what?
here, it's actually kind of cold outside, so he's out here in his he's in his heat lamp here.
Oh,
Um,
okay. We don't want to get him cold.
oh no, it's okay. We can pull him out here. I'll pull him out for the thing. Put him right back in. He won't be cold for too long. Yeah, Archie is he's actually a rescue bearded dragon. So he basically came from a home that nobody wanted him anymore. There he is right here. This is Archie, the homeless dragon. He's actually pretty big. A lot of people don't realize how big he is. He's probably like a foot and a half long, maybe like like 18 inches. And he probably weighs about a pound. And a lot of people are like I always see comments on my thing like, what if he falls in the water? What if he gets eaten? They're actually really good swimmers, first off, and then second off, he's massive. If a bass is going to eat him, I want to know where that bass is at, to be honest. you know, it would take quite the fish for sure.
How long have you had Archie?
A little over a year now. Yeah, this is still fairly new. Well, I guess I mean it's been a while, but you know, he's it's just like nice to have a little travel companion on the road.
Yeah.
Spend a lot of time alone, so it's kind of just like something to have here, something to take care of. And he comes out on the board and yeah, he eats lettuce and bugs, all that. He just has I think he has a good time. He gets the
Yeah.
sunshine, all that. So yeah.
Seems to be on the net a lot though.
Yeah, that's his favorite spot to sit. And I try and be like, Archie, like, come on. I have this nice little wood hut for him, and he gets up on the hut. But like every once in a while, he'll be like, "Oh, I want to sit in the net," and he just like hunkers down in the net. And I'm like, dude, that's gonna mess me up one day. I had one that I just posted the last cast catch for my YouTube video with the mother chaser. He was like in the net, and I hook up with this good fish, and I'm like, oh God. And you see me like one-handed, I grab him, like lift him out of the net and then scoop the fish. Like it barely worked out. And the fish came out in the net. So I'm like, okay, sick. But yeah, but that's okay. You know what I mean? If he doesn't understand, I can't be mad at him.
You mentioned growing up and telling your dad you want to catch more fish. What do your parents think of what you do?
So my mom, she sails around pretty much the world. She like delivers sailboats
Oh
for a
wow.
living. So she lives in Belize. So I'm on the same thing, you know what I mean? like we do the same thing. And then my dad, he won't admit it, but he's a hippie and he has a garden and that's what he does for a living. He has a little produce garden and he's just living his life and he doesn't really care what I do. He's like, man, as long as you're having fun. Um, he was never like a big fisherman. He was more of a hunter and like he used to ski and stuff like that. But like I said, he's old now, so he has the big garden in his front yard and that's what he does. He goes to the farmer's market and stuff like that. So they're pretty sportive.
So they get it. They get it. I mean, life is truly I mean, same thing I tell my kids, be happy. That should be your goal in life. Like people want fancy cars and big boats and stuff, but I know a lot of people with fancy cars and big boats that are miserable. I'd rather my kids be happy.
Yeah.
Where do you think you are 10 years from now?
Oh my God. Probably in Japan, looking for the world record. Yeah. I think that's probably where it is. Unless Texas starts stocking trout, like I'm gonna have to move. You know what I mean? I don't think, like, being realistic, like we probably don't have a world record here. So Japan is probably the next best option. Yeah, if I had money to just buy a house in Japan or a van over there in Japan, yeah, I'd be there. I'd be there right now.
You're fairly fearless. Always been that way. I mean, to live in a van's one thing in North America, but to be like, yeah, I'll live in a van in Japan searching for a bass.
I mean, like, what's gonna happen? You know, I'm gonna either make it happen or die trying, and that's okay with me. You know.
Great way to look at things.
What else is there? You know.
So how do you make a schedule like right now? So you're coming back from Colorado, you stopped. I mean, I know you plan things because you told me I planned a spot to stop with good Wi-Fi, which this is phenomenal. This is a great lesson to bass pros all around the world. Dude lives in a van and has better Wi-Fi than you. Just say that.
I don't have Wi-Fi all the time, so I got to know where it is. You know what I mean? I got to be able to find it. I'm pretty loose with my plans, but I know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like I will be spontaneous, but I have dates and stuff planned out. Like I gotta be back in Texas on the 15th for a guide trip in Austin. So I was like, okay, I can, and that was, we booked that early June. So I was like, oh, I got plenty of time to run around and do something real quick. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, I'll go to Colorado. Screw it, you know. I don't know. I feel like definitely planning stuff out helps me keep an order in my life, like where everything just keeps. So like the YouTube schedule and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, upload this day and this day, and try not to stray from that. But yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I definitely go, okay, we're gonna do this like today, because it took me one day to decide I was going to Colorado. Like I was just sitting there Sunday, I was like, man, I could just go to Colorado right now, just load everything up and left. That was a pretty cool feeling, and that's why I love this job. You know, it's a great job for sure. I'm very appreciative of it.
When you say that's why you love the job, just the freedom, I mean, you're a perpetual kid. Like literally, I mean, I say to my kids all the time, like, how special summer vacation and everything is when you're in school, because it's one of the few times in life where you literally can be like, what are we going to do? You know, you wake up and decide, and you basically do whatever you want that day. But that's your life. You're perpetually on summer break.
Yeah. And like sometimes, honestly, and this is like, I'm sure some people are going to listen to this and be like, oh, like, don't complain about that. Like, we all wish we had that life, but it's like, it comes in, you know, each person has their own things in life. I kind of envy sometimes people who go to work for 5 days a week and they have 2 days off, because there's like this unparalleled motivation on your 2 days off when you're like, I have to fish my tail off this day and this day, and that's all I got. And sometimes I see people go out there and like, I don't personally fish for 8 hours. Like I don't go out there for 8 hours. I typically fish just about every day, but I only spend like 4, maybe 6 hours if it's good. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to go out there and like beat myself up. Like sometimes it's hard for me to find that need to go out there. You know what I mean? Just because I'm like, oh, I could just go out there tomorrow, you know, or the next day, or like whatever. But people who go to work, I'm like, oh, like you guys have this, like, they are dialed on the weekdays, on the days they're off. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I look at that sometimes like, whoa, that's like, I wish I could have that all the time. You know what I mean? It's hard to like balance it. There's definitely a lot of burnout involved. You know what I mean? Any content creation where you're doing it every single day. But I found a pretty good schedule where I fish for I like a 4-hour session, right? I'll go out 2 hours in. I know what's going on. If it's just absolutely garbage and I know it's not going to happen, I leave. I don't burn myself out. I'm not going to beat my head against the wall. If it's good, I'll stay till, 4 hours, 6 hours, and then I leave. You know what I mean? I'm not going to stay all day. Like, I like to get up in the morning. I like to make my breakfast. I like to have morning to myself, get on the water like 12, get off at 4, go work out, go make dinner. You know what I mean? That's like a nice flow for my day. And I feel like it kind of ruins my flow if I stay out for 8 or 9 hours. You know what I mean? Then I'm all sunburnt and I'm hungry and I'm angry and I didn't catch anything. Like, no, that's not a good way to go about it. I gotta keep the ball rolling. You know what I mean? So
what, I mean, when you said you only fish for 4 to 6 hours a day, instantly in my head, I thought, okay, gets up super early, does the early morning bite and the late. You're a midday angler. Why?
I never fish in the morning. And it's like, I don't know, maybe it's wrong, but I have never once in my life heard of anyone who caught a 15 plus pound bass. And they were like, yeah, we got up at 3:30 in the morning. We got to the lake at 5. We were on the water, and first cast we caught it. It's always like, oh yeah, we were about to leave. Last cast 2 p.m. I hooked it. I just don't think that those big fish eat early in the morning, and I'm not talking like big fish as in like 10 to 12 pounder. I'm talking like the biggest fish in the lake, like those gigantic, like upper teen fish. I think they feed in the middle of the day. Like my theory, right, is they feed in the middle of the day because that's when they can see the best, right? They know like, okay, I can feed safely because I know they're sight predators, you know what I mean? For the most part. And like, of course there's exceptions to these rules of like, obviously it's fishing. There are no facts. There are no rules. So of course, there's giant fish that eat at night. There's giant fish that might eat in the morning. I don't know. But that's just like, as a general consensus, most of the big fish I've ever seen are in the middle of the day. You know what I mean? All my big fish have always come between like 12 and 4. Like that's when I catch big fish. And maybe that's just because that's when I fish. But I used to get up early and I used to fish early all the time. And it just never panned out for me. Like maybe you'd catch a 6 pounder, but I find that the bigger fish feed like 8 to 10 pounders. They feed in the middle of the day, you know? And like I said, that's not a fact. Nobody take that with a grain of salt. That's just how I think about it. And then also, I hate waking up early. I'm not gonna get up at 4 in the morning. Like I'm not gonna do that, especially to go fish a lake that's like 10 minutes from my house. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna chill and like make my breakfast and have a good morning and then go fish. It gives me time to think about where I'm gonna go. Maybe I want to pick a different lake. Like I don't usually pick the lake until the day of. I have to kind of look at the conditions and be like, oh, well, I'll go here, because the wind's blowing this way, and I like that instead of deciding a day in advance and then waking up and then my plans are ruined because it's like, oh, the wind's blowing this way, I can't go to this lake, then you had it all in your head. But yeah, I fish in the middle of the day. I don't fish early in the morning. Every once in a while in the evening and late at night, I enjoy that. That's pretty fun, the night bite. But yeah, never early. Never ever, unless it's like a buddy who's like, let's get up early.
What's your biggest bass?
10 pounds, 11 ounces.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Gotcha. So still not big enough. Yeah, that we're on 10 pounder. I have 3 double digits now. I caught a 10.2 last year and a 10.3 this year, and I want to hit a 12. I want to hit a 12 this year. That would make me really, really happy. That would be a good milestone to hit. I feel like I'm getting a little more consistent with those like 8+ pounders, which is cool. Like I feel like once you get into those 8 pounders and like 9 pounders, you're doing something right. I mean, it's hard to hit a 10+ pounder in Texas because like a lot of fish they're just skinny. Like, you know what I mean? They just don't fill out. Like in California, they're a dime a dozen because they're all trout fed, but like we have fish in Texas. I caught one that was 27 inches and it wasn't even a 10 pounder. It was 9 pounds, 14 ounces. I'm like, dude, that's, you know what I mean? Like a 27 incher should be a 13 pounder all day. Yeah. But that's the struggle of Texas. Like it's the forage isn't always right. But
are you always fishing public lakes, or Texas has got a lot of those?
Yeah, for the most part. Like I mean, like I'll do like a sneak in mission every once in a while and go fish something private just for fun. But if I ever caught a giant in private water, it would not be posted, or at least it would be heavily clarified. Hey, this doesn't count. Like this is a 13 that I caught in a pond or whatever. Like that's not real. Yeah, only public water. Like if I'm posting anything for real, if I'm going fishing for real, it's public water. I think that's the only right way to do it. You know what I mean?
What is a sneak in mission?
like a break in, like a little trespass passing mission.
Okay.
Everybody's done it. Come on.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that people haven't. People who do crazy things to catch big giant fish.
We got some pretty nice pay lakes here in Texas. So yeah, there's a couple that I've fished a couple times. I'm like, oh, that's cool. At night, stuff like that. It's fun.
Are they better at night?
No, not usually. Like I've had a couple where I've gone to and I've skunked. And I was like, dang, that sucked. Like I know one that I went to one time, you have to pay $1,500 to fish it for one day. Right. And I fished it at night and I skunked. And I was like, man, I'm glad I didn't pay to go in here. Like imagine you pay in here and skunk. Like, yeah, that's just, you gotta have money to just throw away, you know?
I'd be concerned at sneaking into bodies of water in Texas. People,
Yeah.
people,
Yeah, you should.
people protect their property very well in Texas.
Yeah. No, I'm well aware of all the risks. Sure. It's just gotta try it, you know.
I got you. I got you. It, you had mentioned you got to be back for the 15th to do a guiding trip. Do you do a lot of guiding?
Every once in a while, like last year I did a whole bunch of them, but more this year, and I call them guide trips. They're not really guide trips. They're lessons. Like I like to say lesson more, because it's not like I'm gonna go out and put you on fish. It's more like I want to teach you how to paddleboard fish. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't understand like the technique I use. You know what I mean? And there's even, I don't know, the people who hit me up just like to kind of talk fishing and talk theories and stuff like that. And I like to use, same thing with my Patreon, same thing with my YouTube, same thing with everything. I like to use it as like take it and listen to what I have to say and let it inspire your fishing. Because like if something works for you and it doesn't work for me, that doesn't matter. It's working for you, so you run with it. You know what I mean? Like you have to create your own ideas. I hate this idea in bass fishing where I meet somebody new and they're like, "Oh, it's a cloudy, windy day. I have to throw a spinnerbait." Or like these like rules, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, that none of that matters. Like you throw whatever you feel, you know what I mean? Like you got to come up with it. My biggest spinnerbait fish was like a 9.5 pounder, and it was in the middle of a flat, calm, sunny day. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, none of those apply at all. Like it's just whatever you think is gonna work. You know what I mean? Whatever you're gonna make work. So I try and like really bring that to the guide trips a lot. You know what I mean? Where I'm just like teaching them about how I fish, because people are interested in it. And it's also it's just fun. Like I get to meet new friends doing that too. You know what I mean? Like it's always a little weird at first. You're like, oh, this is a client, and then after it's over, it's like, oh, dude, we're friends. Like we'll go fishing next time. You know what I mean? I hope I provide something good for the people that come out. Most of them seem pretty happy. So yeah, it's just a fun little side gig. Helps me out. Helps everybody else out.
Dude, I feel like you're gonna explode. Like I really do. Like I've just everything I've seen that you do, and just even more so talking to you, you're genuine and you're real. And that's as sad as it is, there's a lot of that missing in the world. Real,
Yeah.
genuine. You know what I mean? People,
Uh, but
because I mean, if you were going to create your character, I mean, it is almost stereotypically created for like, okay, this dude lives in a van. He's got a pet bearded lizard named Archie. I mean, it is some dude in a marketing center would say that this is how you create a star in this sport.
right.
You
I think it stems. I see so many people that like, especially getting into the YouTube space. I don't watch fishing YouTube at all. Like
Yeah.
hardly. I watch a couple of guys, you know, like that are my friends. I watch Jeffrey, Phoenix, Adrian. Like I'll watch those guys, but I don't watch fishing YouTube because it's repetitive. It's boring. I don't see anyone getting creative with it. You know what I mean? And that's what I like thrive on is like, oh, everyone's doing it this way. Well, let me try it this way. You know, something just completely off the wall, completely backwards. And I enjoy that. And I wish more people would take a risk and try something different. You know what I mean? Because it's all the content that I watch on YouTube that I'm like, whoa, it's something interesting. It's something creative. It's something out of the norm. And it's like most of the time you can tell that whoever was making this, they're like, okay, wow, they enjoyed making that. That's what makes me enjoy content. I'm like, dude, if you were passionate about it and you had fun making it and you weren't following any rules, that's awesome. You know what I mean? I wish there was more of that. But I see so many cookie cutter like John D wannabes, you know what I mean? And there's nothing against it. I understand why you try and take that path because it worked for so many other people. You know what I mean? Where it was just like loud thumbnail, loud picture, like this crazy bait caught a giant, you know, and like all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, like I get it and it does work, but like, come on, let's do something cool. You know what I mean? Like let's do something cool for the community. You know, like I said, making videos isn't ends to a mean for me, but I still enjoy it. Like I still enjoy making an interesting product for people. Like I still enjoy making videos, and I try and make something that is different. You know what I mean? Yeah, it just stems from like just get creative. Like everybody, if you're listening to this and you want to make a YouTube channel, do it, but like make it your own way. Put your own spin on it. Do whatever you want. You know, because that's what's going to do you good in the long run, not being a copy paste. But
That's obviously how you were brought up, though. At 22 years old, it takes people a while, a lot of times I mean, in the Elite Series at Bassmaster events, you see people come along and they're definitely trying to be what they think the industry wants them to be.
right,
And then their real success comes when they say, screw that, I'm just going to be whoever I am. And
yep,
and there'll be people that will like it and people that dislike it, but there will be people that like it.
Yep.
It doesn't sound like you ever went through that I'm going to give the world what the world expects from me stage. Did you?
I've definitely like made my fair share of content where I was like, oh, this is just like trendy. And like I said, the first original fishing videos, I don't go way back, but if you go way back on my YouTube channel, you can find videos that are like way back there. I guess they still had their own kind of original thing to them, but you could tell like when I was a freshman in high school, like I wanted to be John B. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, well, let me just do this. You know, try the editing, try that style. But I just found out very quick that like that's not me. You know what I mean? That's not what I want to do. And I had way more fun just making whatever the hell I wanted to. You know what I mean? Like that's where I have way more fun, and it just makes life a lot more enjoyable. You know, instead of trying to suck up to everybody, I'm like, oh, this is my thing. You know, like creative outlet.
Do you you don't watch a lot of fishing YouTube? Do you watch other YouTube, or are you busy?
Yeah, I definitely watch YouTube. Honestly, like I don't know, it's just not fishing. I just don't really find anything that interesting now. Like I said, a couple channels like Working Class Zero. There's a couple channels that do like cool original stuff that's fishing, and I'm like, man, that's neat. Like we need more of that originality. But other than that, no. Like no. I'll watch you know like a good like what do you call it? Can't even think of the word right now. But like a YouTube like documentary, video essays and stuff like that. I like just listening to about interesting people and just kind of taking in facts, you know what I mean? Facts and stuff like that. Something I can put on while I'm cooking or something like that, just to listen to. Basically podcasts. I'm a big podcast consumer. I like listening to podcasts, but yeah, not fishing YouTube. That's not where I thrive, you know.
And then that's a smart way to live. I mean, I always think like if you're watching, I mean, I don't watch, I can't, I mean, even when I do coverage for Bassmaster events, I can't watch MLF events. Like I can't, not because I hate MLF or anything like that, but I can't because I don't want any of their terms or anything baked into my head. I mean, I remember the first MLF event came out and they have the score tracker. And then the next Bassmaster event, and I watched a ton of the first one, obviously. And then out of nowhere, somehow out of my mouth, I'm like, and I almost said, well, we're going to have to see how that turns out of the score. And then there was an awkward pause and I said, bored. but I knew what happened in my head. I'm like, I can't watch that because I don't want to try it's just like an easy way for us to have this conversation, not knowing each other, would have been for me to go search any other podcasts you've been on and had the same conversation. But I'm like, I intentionally won't do that because you want it to be a genuine conversation.
Yeah, exactly. No, that is a good way to look at it. Yeah, I definitely, if I was watching too much fishing YouTube, it would like melt into my stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just needs out of my brain. I get more inspiration from my fishing content just from like the shows and stuff I watch and the people I talk to than I do anything else. You know what I mean? Just like stuff that inspires me that isn't fishing. I always like I tell people this too because I think it's a really good tip. But take media that is not fishing and bring it to fishing. Like let it inspire your creation. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of good media out there that's not fishing that could have a fishing spin on it. You know what I mean? And then you could find a style through that. You know, it's like there's a lot of room there. You know.
One of the coolest things about fishing that I think is you can do it as you choose. And you're right. Like the way you're doing it, it's the way you choose to do it. I mean, whether the camera funds some of what you do, or all of what you do now, but you're still yourself. Do you worry that for this to become successful, I mean, the more successful it comes, the more, I mean, in fishing, the weird thing is the more one day you're like, I would dream of this being this. And it becomes that. And then the hardest thing to do is actually just go fishing because you're always being drawn away to be at trade shows, be at different things like that. Is that a concern of yours or not at all?
Yeah, a little bit, but I think I know where to draw a good line. You know what I mean? I know where I need to not go do that stuff or when I need to fish. Like I said, I battle like burnout, you know what I mean, pretty often. So I'm pretty good at it now where I'm like, just don't burn yourself out. You know what I mean? Like take a break when you need to, you know, and like let it come naturally. Yeah, I don't know. And like I said, if I did just run into a ridiculous amount of money, like I wouldn't be making content. I would be out searching for the world record. I would be flying to South America or South Africa or wherever it might be. You know what I mean? Like that would be it. And I think that would be fine for me. You know, like sorry anybody who likes watching my content, but I'd be
See ya.
gone. I post an update every once in a while. I'll be like, hey, look, got this one. You know, but I don't know. It wouldn't be the same for sure. But yeah,
The other
I don't know.
the other cool thing about creating content the way you are though too is, and I think if you did come across all that money, your thoughts might be different too, because it's also chronicling, like it's going to be so cool for you 20 years from now, 30 years from now to have a catalog, like rather than
Yeah,
just, I mean, I'm sure your dad tells you described your parents as hippies. And I'm sure they tell you stories about when they were 22. Well,
yeah.
one day you'll be able to, like, this is me when I was 22. That you don't have to
I
wonder what it was like. You've got a catalog of your life.
dude, it's honestly like I this is the biggest example that I think my best friend Juan, he took his life last year, and I think back and I talk to his mom like every once in a while, and they're always like, hey, like thank you so much for filming him and like putting all this stuff up, because now we have all these videos, you know what I mean? And I look back and I'm like, Jesus, thank thank goodness I was filming, because now I have all this stuff that I can look at. I can go back and look at this part of my life. You know what I mean? It's like it's there. Like the legacy is there. You know what I mean? And I think about it the same way for myself. I'm gonna look back at, you know, and even in like 5 years, I'm gonna look back to this time right now, be like, dang, that was fun. Like what I was doing right then was super fun. You know what I mean? And maybe it'll inspire me again. You know what I mean? It'll like become full circle. I like having it there. I like having it. Like I said, it's kind of like a video diary. You know what I mean? It's just a
Yeah.
diary for me to day and keep it recorded, and it helps me hit my goals. You know what I mean? Because I tell the people, hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Like these are my goals, and I keep you updated through the videos. And it's like, God, I got to do it because I said I was gonna do it. You know what I mean? So it like helps me get through life for sure. Just having it all recorded. Yeah, no, you're totally right on that. It is awesome, honestly, just to have that log.
So not only the fishing thing, but the van life thing is huge now. Like there's travel channels that are literally people living in a van. And are a lot of your followers from that, or is it all fishing, do you think?
Honestly, I think most of them are fishing, because I focus like 95%
Yeah.
fishing, because that's what I love. But I've been branching out and trying to do more vlog style stuff where I film my day in the life on the YouTube channel. And a lot of people on there, I don't know if they're all fishing people. I don't know if they're like some fishing, some not, but they all seem to really enjoy it. Like my best videos are the super raw, like vlog ones where I'm just sitting here talking to the camera, like here's me making breakfast, you know, stuff like that. It's just simple stuff. But people find that interesting. I think they find it interesting because it's something they don't do. And it took me a long time to get to the point where I was like, oh, I need to film this, because I was like, dude, this is just my life. Like I wouldn't watch somebody in their apartment film themselves cooking. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, but that's how I thought about it, because I was like, I just do this. You know what I mean? This is just how I live. And I don't know. Now I've figured out it's a little different. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
What's the weirdest place you've ever stayed at overnight in the van?
So honestly, like weirdest place, I've definitely stayed in a couple weird places in Florida. Like for me, Florida is so strange. I don't know what it is, the people, the vibe, like just something about it, dude. Like I honestly don't really like Florida that much. Like I like the fishing, but like something about just being in Florida is like so strange to me. I don't know, the people, and just every kind of like, you know, there's like a Southern hospitality thing in Texas where everybody's like brutally honest with you. You know what I mean? And I absolutely adore that. Like if you bump into someone at the gas station or you do something weird, they're gonna be like, hey man, that was weird. Why'd you do that? You know? But if you do something weird in Florida, they just kind of like look at you and they won't say anything. They won't be honest with you. You know what I mean? So like there's been a couple of places where I'll go and like just people looking at me, you know what I mean? Or just like saying something, but I'm like, you didn't really mean that. You just said that, you know what I mean? Not honest. There's been a couple parking lots that I've stayed at in Florida where it was just like meeting weird people, you know. Honestly, some of the weirdest spots I stay are probably like places where there's other van people. And not, I'm sorry if I'm talking about anybody, if anybody's listening, but I don't really like talking to other van people. I don't know. It's just something about it. Like I go to settle down for my night, I'm cooking dinner, And then somebody walks up and then starts an hour-long conversation with me about my van setup. And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to like, this is like my private time. You know what I mean? Like, let me cook. And I know I've put myself out there. So it's like, I can't really expect people to just leave me alone. But you know what I mean? It's like I need this like time where I can just cool down. And then somebody comes up and talks my ear off. I'm like, oh, dang it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I like all the van people are cool, but like I'd rather just be alone. You know what I mean? When I'm parking and sleeping and stuff like that, cooking. Yeah.
Well, for a lot of them, I would imagine the van is their fishing. You know what I mean? The van is you're only in the van because of a situation and because it allows you to fish every day.
Exactly.
For them, they're in the van because that's they want to talk about how things are hooked up and
I totally get it. And I don't want to be rude, you know what I mean? So I'll talk to them about it, but that is like a little draining because like this is not my first choice. Like, you know, obviously, I guess it kind of is now because it's like, oh, I can drive anywhere and fish. But yeah, there are definitely, you're right. That is how it is. People, this is their fishing. So
do you plan on owning a house one day?
Maybe. I don't know yet. I don't know if it benefits me. Yeah, probably. Honestly, the biggest thing would just be like storage. Like if I could get, I really want like one of my like ultimate like just if I had stupid money just to buy stuff, I want to buy like a nice K truck, like a little Japanese mini truck. You know, the right hand drive, like stick shift, dude. Like those are so cool. And I cannot imagine like pulling up to the lake with my paddleboard in the back of that. Like that would just be so cool. And I don't have a place to store that, obviously. So if I had a house, I'd be like, oh, I could put this in the garage. You know what I mean? Like that's the only reason I think I'd want a house is to have that thing. But but yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll see where I get, you know.
You plan on having a family one day or
No,
not at
no,
all?
I don't think so.
I imagine the van life's not great for girlfriends, is it?
No, no, but I think that my goal of catching the world record is going to take my entire life. You know, I think it would eat into any family situation I could even think about having. You know what I mean? So maybe after I catch it, we'll think about it. But that's up until then. Right now, that's the goal. You know, that's the only thing in my life that really is like I'm after.
You throw a lot of big baits. Is that part of is that simply just because your goal is to catch a world record? Or what's
I mean, if I'm being like completely real, the world record is probably going to eat a 5-inch worm, and I'm totally fine with that worm, right? I am well aware of that. A big fish is going to eat a small little worm, right? But I learn a lot about fishing throwing a big bait. There's like a lot of interactions that I have with bass throwing a glide bait or a big soft bait where I'm like, wow, I would have never had that on a conventional lure. And I definitely like you get a bigger class of fish, obviously, on a big bait. You know what I mean? Like it is a lot easier to witness and see those 8 to 10 pound fish on a big bait than it would be a conventional lure. So I think it's a solid tool, but I know it's just a tool. You know what I mean? Like I'll go out and I'll throw it, I'll use it, but it's another tool. Like I'm not exclusively big bait. A lot of people are like die hard, but I think if you're throwing only big baits, then you are absolutely missing like half of your shots. You know, like a lot of my big fish are on soft plastics, like little soft plastics, and that's totally fine. You know, that doesn't matter to me. Like, and some of them are on big baits, and that's cool. You know, it's just that they're all tools. You know, you can't be like, well, I'm only going to use a Phillips head screwdriver for the rest of my life. Like, dude, no, you're going to encounter a flathead situation. You know what I mean? You're going to need a tool for that. So I like to have my arsenal open, you know, but the big bait is fun. It is super fun.
It is. That's a wise way of looking at it because there is some people who get addicted to, and that's all they'll throw. And they almost look down. It's one of the weirdest things about fishing. Like people like, oh, dude, if you fish that way, you're lesser than me because I do it this way.
That's compensation because they know they're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? They know they're missing out on a piece. Like, no, I'm sorry. I'll fish whatever way I please. You know what I mean? Like that's how I think about it. And really that's the best way because like I said, a big fish will eat a little worm. It'll eat a big bait. It'll eat anything. It just depends, right? It's all tools. Like you got to be ready for any situation like that. You know, I always have a worm tied on. Like all my videos are big bait videos. And that's everybody always comes to me, dude, I started throwing swim baits because of you. And I'm like, okay, but like I drag worms all the time. Like all the time I'm dragging an eco rig. That is like freaking 50% of my fishing for sure. You know, like I think that's one of the best ways to catch a big fish is just combing the bottom. You know what I mean, with some sort of worm or crawdad or jig or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Makes sense.
can't roll out your tools for sure.
You attended I hate that I didn't meet you there, but you attended the Bassmaster Classic this year. What was that like for you?
That was actually pretty cool because like it was weird because I feel like I'm in a like strange little fishing niche. You know what I mean? Like the swim bait community. I feel like I'm like people call me like part of the swim bait community. You know what I mean? The biggest swim baits thing of me.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's a small community. Like we all know each other. You know what I mean? Like everybody knows each other. I show up to the classic and there's like how many people are at the classic? There's like thousands of people walking around that all fish. And I'm like, whoa, like I didn't even know there were this many people that fish in the world. Like this is crazy. So I'm walking around like all these people, and it was just such an interesting environment because it was like not not what I surround myself with. You know what I mean? I show up
Yeah.
and I start talking to people, and they're all talking about shaking a minnow and all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, this is so interesting. This is such a strange, like just strange environment. It was fun though. It was super fun. Um, yeah, I drove up there with the G Crack crew, and got to run around and look at all the boots and stuff like that. It was pretty fun. That was a cool event.
Do you work with G Crack?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they make some great baits.
Yeah, I've been fishing G Crack for a lot longer than I've been working with them. The same thing with a lot of the baits that I fish with. It's always like I fish before I work with them. You know what I mean? Just because like I'm
Smart.
still what I believe in. You know what I mean? But yeah, G Crack has always done me really good. I've caught a bunch of big fish on their stuff. And it's a product that I really believe in. You know what I mean? Like I don't even have to sell it. You can just go look at my Instagram page. Like, I don't have to say anything.
Did many people recognize you at the Classic?
A few, not that many. I don't really expect like everyone to know who I am. You know what I mean? It's just like I still feel like a small creator, in the grand scheme of things. But there were some people there taking pictures and stuff. That was pretty cool. Signed a couple of baits. That was neat.
Yeah, very cool. The Classic's a cool. It's. I always say like, it's one of the few events I've ever been to that once you go to it, you don't want to miss one. Like you want to go more. You know what I mean? Like there's
Well,
certain.
the next one is where Ray Roberts. It's in
Yeah,
Fort Worth. I'm gonna
yeah,
be
Fort
there.
Worth.
100%. I'm gonna be there. I
Oh,
want
dude.
to. I want to fish the celebrity tournament. You know how they had hood fishing and stuff like that. I was
Yeah,
like, I want to do that. That'd be fun. That'd
I
just
know
be
a guy.
that'd
I
be
know a guy.
that would be so funny, dude. I was like,
I,
man, I want to get on. I like imagine it in my head. I was like, dude, if I got invited to that, I would show up in the most ridiculous outfit. I would show up with the big baits in hand. Like I would show up and people would be like, dude, who is this guy? Like that just to me, it would be so funny. Just to pull up and like just make an appearance. I don't know.
I
But
want to make that happen. I want to make
that,
that happen for you, and
that'd
I
be
think I can. I think we can. I think we can do this.
I'm stoked, dude. Stoked.
No, you need to be part of that. But don't let me down, dude. Like if you're gonna be part of it,
I'd be listen to me. I'd be just trust me. I have this image in my head. I would show up stunting. All right. I would show up and people are like, whoa. I would make an appearance for sure. Cause like how can you not? Like I'm not trying to be like this guy, but like, dude, you're gonna show up on national television on the Bassmaster Classic, dude. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up in style, you know?
yeah. Maybe I'll just bring a megaphone and be your hype man. I'll just yell stuff behind you.
So
So,
fun, dude.
it's a busy week for me, but I'll definitely get you in. Not sure about the hype man, but we can do some stuff. I can.
Oh,
I shouldn't say it definitely. But I think I can help make that happen.
I feel
And
like I'm up there hood fishing. I feel like I could fit in there. Got a
yeah,
good vibe, from those
yeah.
guys.
No, I think you'd be a great addition to that field. But no, you definitely need to be part of that. You definitely need to come to the Classic, and we need to hang out some because
Absolutely.
I think, dude, I honestly, every part of me thinks like literally when I contacted you, I mean, I sent you my first message to you was something like, dude, just keep being you because the world needs more of this. And then I kept watching videos. And then afterwards, I'm like, do do you want to do a podcast? Like, you hadn't even answered me. And I'm like, what a weirdo. I'm stalking this guy that I don't even, but
Sorry, I have the DM box is full. Anyone who doesn't get a response, I am so sorry. I try my hardest, but it is like full. So I'm glad I hopped on there. I was like, who's this guy? And I was like, wait, that's the dude. So yeah, that's the dude.
Well, I'm glad that you recognize me as the dude. I mean, I'll take that. But dude, you just need to keep being you. Like, I really think what you bring to this industry is great, especially at a time when everybody, I mean, the unique thing about this episode is I have you and David Gaston. David Gaston's Elite Series pro, who just caught the state record tuna off a 66-foot boat. And I'm like, but that's the cool thing about fishing to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he takes it any more serious than you do. And you do it in up until just a little while ago, a $200 Amazon bought stand-up paddleboard. And the world's full of so many people that are like, I can't do this. You just have to want to do it. I mean, anybody can do what you're doing. What you're doing right now, literally anybody can do it. Most people aren't willing to do it, though. They're not willing to.
I could, if someone right now is listening and you're like, I want to do this, you absolutely could. You could be a clone homeless fisherman and it would work. You get the same amount of following. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that hard. Like, it is difficult, but it's not impossible. It's just as hard as anything else. You know, you just got to do it. You got to put in the effort. So, yeah.
It's very cool. It's very, very cool to see what you're doing. And
it means a lot. It means a lot. Seriously does. I'm honestly, like, every time I get invited on a show or I meet people in person that are like asking me to sign stuff, I'm like, dude, what am I like? Think about how far I've come. Like, I'm like, dude, I just can't, I honestly can't believe it sometimes. And I'm very appreciative of all the people who make it happen. You know what I mean? Thank you to Kyle. Thank you to all my companies that work with me. And thank you to all the people who just, watch the video. That's literally it. Just people watching, you know what I mean? That's incredible.
So how can people support you if they want to? Just watch the videos?
Yeah, the best way to support, like, if you don't want to spend any money, just watch the videos. But if you want to send me a few dollars, I have a Patreon account, and on Patreon I have like 100 videos on there right now. I upload twice a month on there, just like tutorial stuff. We do monthly giveaways, so I give away a bait or two every month. There's a $5 and a $10 tier. If you want to sign up, you can. There's a bunch of extra content. That's the best way to support. And then other than that, just support the companies that support me. Throwback, G-Crack, and help them out.
I'll make sure to put your links in the description and everything like that. And I encourage everybody to go follow this guy, because in my opinion, you're just gonna your stock is. I mean, like I said, I'm shocked it took me this long to find you. But I honestly think that your stock is just going to continue to rise in this sport, and it's a great thing. But before we leave, I need you to give me. And I hate to put you in the spot. Give me like the craziest crap. That's like, if somebody says to you, what is the craziest thing that has happened being the homeless angler, the homeless fisherman? What is it?
Craziest thing. Oh my God. It's really like, it's funny because like people always ask me this, and I don't have one story that's like ridiculous. You know, like some people have ridiculous stories. I don't know. I've been like woken up by the police a lot, but I'm not very like, I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty good at like talking people down. Like if people come at me or like if the cops talking to me or anything like that, I'm pretty good at just being like understanding, like, hey man, like it's okay. Like I'm just doing this. You know what I mean? Like a lot of like, I had a cop wake me up in Colorado. I pulled into this spot like at 12 o'clock at night. Right. And it was right by the lake that we were going to go fishing in the morning. And I was like, I'm just going to pull in here and sleep. And I didn't even notice the like closed at sunset sign. Right. I just didn't look. I was driving like barely eyes open. You know what I mean? Like an hour later, I like wake up and there's a freaking blinding light like pointing into the back of the van. I'm like, whoa, that's a police officer. And so I like get up and like put on my shorts, and he's like knocking on the window, and he comes up, and I like crawl into the front seat. Like I get up there and I open the door, and I'm just like shirtless. I'm like sitting there. I'm like, this is not look good for sure. It never looks good. It never ever looks good, right? When you're just sleeping in a random parking lot in the van, like shirtless, long hair, hippie. And he was like, hey man, like you're not supposed to be parked here. Like what's going on? And I was like, oh man, I'm just going fishing in the morning with my buddies. And he was like, okay, you sure you're not here drinking? And I was like, nope. He was like, all right, let me see. And he was pretty chill about it. I feel like I get those pretty often. You know what I mean? Like every once in a while, I'll sleep in a spot where I'm not supposed to. I'm like, oops, sorry. You know, they're usually pretty cool about it. But other than that, nothing like crazy has happened. You know what I mean? Most of it, and anything weird beef that I have, it's like weird online beef where people don't like me and they're just gonna make a big deal out of it. Like, oh, this guy's weird. Like, you know, I don't care. Like, whatever. You know what I mean?
You
Like, I'm
get
out here.
what do they hate on you about? I mean, I thought they just hate people that use forward facing sonar and stuff. What do they hate
I,
on you about?
I don't know. I like, it's just people that like, people will say all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? It's just the internet. If you have any sort of following, people are gonna say, you
Yeah.
know, these people on you. That's just how it goes. You know, I get like the you're not really homeless a lot. Like people are mad at me that I'm saying homeless. I'm like, well, like if you listen to this episode, you get it, right? You get the whole thing, right? And like maybe I'll retire the name one day, but it's not about, it's the legacy, you know what I mean? Like it's the thing. I don't know. People get upset about that. People get upset about me wearing a crop top or whatever, like just something stupid where I'm just like, dude, I'm just doing whatever I want to do. It's always people who haven't figured out that you can actually just do whatever you want to do. And like no
Yeah.
one can no one can stop you. And that is such a nice freedom to just be like, oh, I'm just gonna do this because I want to, not because anybody else, not because you know you need to do it. Like, oh, I'm just gonna do this because it would be funny or I want to do it or whatever. You know, and people get upset about that because they don't. I feel like they don't have that same control over their life, where they're like, oh, I can't do that and be free. Like, or at least they have that mental block. You could if you really wanted to. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You could do
Yeah.
whatever you want. You got to work for it. It's not about like what you can't do. It's like, how do we get there? What is step one? You know what I mean? It's not about just jumping there instantly. So yeah, people get upset about all kinds of stupid stuff, but that's fine. I'm not here to get upset at anybody or hate on the haters. Like I'm just here to be like, hey, this is my content. This is what I make. And I make it for me, and you can like it or not.
The best way to be. It also, I mean, whenever I see stuff like that, I generally respond, what are you really mad at? Because you know the truth is they're not really pissed at you wearing a crop top.
No,
I mean,
no.
not pissed at you living in a van. They're pissed about something, and they get online, and it's
Yep.
just a weird time in the world where people just like to bitch.
Yep. No, and yeah, people do love to bitch. That is right. They love to be upset about something. And I'm like, dude, just you'd be a lot happier if you just went along and went, all right, cool. You know, if somebody tells me something, it's like whatever you're doing, like, cool, dude, go for it. Like I don't have any jurisdiction over your life. Same thing with me. Like if I'm gonna do whatever I want, I'm just gonna do it. You know, there's no like nobody can tell me whatever, you know. If you let the people like that control you, then that's sad. You know what I mean? Like if you let them hurt you, then that's upsetting. But you know, do whatever you want, dude. You could do whatever the hell you want. Think about that. You could do whatever the hell you want. And as long as you know you're not hurting anybody, you know, as long as you're not doing anything super illegal, cool. You know,
Yeah.
you know, cool. That's a philosophy, you know. Be free. God, free is a mental state most of the time. So
Yeah. Well, my prediction is the homeless fisherman one day. I don't think you ever change the name because that's who you started as. And
yeah.
I look forward to the day that you own a mansion and you have to have a green screen behind you that looks like a van.
Oh, we'll
Will
see.
you,
Maybe
will
after
you
I catch the
hell
maybe.
yeah. Hell yeah. Just promise me you'll keep coming on this podcast because I need, I mean, we just met each other and I literally think I'd like to check in with you every few months to see how life in the homeless
Let me know.
fisherman life
Let me
is.
know. I don't have a job. I don't do anything, so I do whatever I want. So you call me. You call me whenever, man.
All
I'm
right.
good.
Deal. Before we finish this up, can you take us for a quick tour of the van to
Oh,
see how you're living?
here we go. So good thing it's clean right now. I made sure it was at least decently clean. Okay, so let's see. So this is my bed. It's a single. It's not a twin.
Nice.
It's a single, the smallest bed you can possibly get. Back here is where I keep like this is my crate for my paddleboard. This is like the fishing corner. There's a bunch of baits back here. This is my ukulele. I keep a lot of stuff underneath the bed, my duffel bag and stuff like that. There's Archie. This is like his bedroom. He doesn't ever stay in there like a lot. You know what I mean? Like this is just like, okay, we're driving or you're going to bed. I know it's small, but I don't have any room for anything else. He's always outside. So
Per capita, it's a lot bigger than what you got, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you take the size of him, he's got a king size bed.
No, exactly. I got a bunch of swim baits hanging up here on the wall. I like to just hang them up and look at them. It's nice to hop in here and be like, oh, I'm gonna fish with this today and grab it. In the front, I have a fridge. This is a 12-volt fridge, so it runs off. I have alternator charge that charges a couple of batteries in the back. I also have a solar panel which charges those as well. So that runs the fridge. It runs Archie's heat lamp. It runs, whatever chargers I need to. In the front, obviously, got the captain's helm right up there. I just kind of keep my rods in the front seat, which is sort of annoying, but it works. I don't usually have anyone else in here. And yeah, that's it. There's my cast iron with some bacon grease in it. And yeah, that's my van. And then the cabinets, obviously. There's some cooking stuff in there. And then this one's where I keep like seasonings and potatoes and stuff like that. So yeah,
Nice.
That's the van.
Nice. You had me at ukulele. You play the ukulele?
Yeah, so it's actually okay. I said ukulele just to make it easy. It's a uke bass. I play the bass, but the uke bass is like super nice and easy. Here, I'll pull it out.
You're
I'll
a
show
uke
you.
bassist.
Yeah, I would say like whenever I do upgrade to a bigger van or a house or whatever, I'm gonna get the sickest bass guitar rig. Yeah, so here it is right here. She's freaking sick. It's got the rubber strings and it's actually fretless too, which is awesome. Whenever they came out with this one, I was like, oh dude, I gotta get that. The Kala Scout fretless U bass. I really love that thing. It's so much fun. But
wow.
yeah, I love the bass.
Spend most of your time near Austin, right?
Yeah, I like to hang out around Austin. I have a bunch of friends there, and it's a pretty nice spot to be close to big fish.
Joe Rogan needs to get you on, dude. Like you, I've always been like, we need an angler to get on Joe Rogan.
No way, dude.
I'd love it to be me, but I just don't think I'm unique enough. But dude, you're right up that alley. Like I feel like you need to go hang out at the Comedy Mothership a little bit.
Really?
And
Joe Rogan.
find me, Joe.
That's big time.
Yeah.
Well, everybody can at Joe Rogan on this podcast.
Yeah.
On the
and then that'll probably make it guaranteed you'll never be back here.
No, I'll come back. All right. I don't forget about my friends. All right.
Well, I appreciate this, dude. And you lived up to the billing. Like I said to you in our messages, I'm like, this is a weird one because normally I know, like, we literally talked for 3.5 minutes while you were looking for your tripod, and we did this conversation. But I appreciate your honesty and I appreciate your inspiration because I'm sure. I mean, the cool thing about this podcast is it's a very positive community. Like that we've built. I try to stay away from all the clickbait garbage that is in the world, and there's too much of that. So I don't. But I think you've just this conversation has probably inspired a lot of people, and I'm one of them.
I hope so, man. If I can do that, then that makes me a happy man. Like that makes me happy. I don't know. I want nothing more than the best for everybody. So you guys go out there and go get it. Whatever you want, go get it. What's step one? So,
sounds like a plan.
It was
the homeless fisherman. Support this dude. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say it was wonderful. It was wonderful to be on.
Well, thank you. The homeless fisherman, support this dude, and I'm saying it right now. The winner, the champion of the 2025 Bassmaster Classic Celebrity Pro-Am, the homeless fisherman.
Wow.
Marshall Arnwine.
I don't know what I would do if you got to holler that out for real. I don't know what I would do, dude. I'd probably cry. Honestly. that would be insane, dude. I'd be so stoked. I'd never stop bragging about it, Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Well, let's work to make it happen. This is step one, but I feel like we got a few steps ahead of us, but we got lots of time to make it happen.
Good stuff, dude. I'm excited.
Thank you.
Of course.
That's it. That's all. Make sure to check out The Homeless Fisherman on Instagram and YouTube. Give him a follow. He truly deserves it. Now go out in the world, do something nice, make the world a better place. And until next week, enjoy being. And as always, Bob Cobb, take it away.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe because Bob Cobb of the Bassmasters told you to.